And Gloucester Hartpury back in the game. And Gloucester in again. Queens have a third try. It's a chance here for Bristol Bears. Excellent Chiefs.
Blinding with the ball.
What a weekend of Premier 15's action we've got in store for you. Starting with our first semi-final, a West Country derby between the league leaders Gloucester Hartpury and self-proclaimed underdogs Bristol Bears. Well, the Bears' dreams were cut short this time last season after Exeter dashed their hopes of securing a place in their first Premier 15's final. However, head coach Dave Ward believes they can beat anyone on their day. Well, they've got to get past the Cherry and Whites, who missed out on a playoff spot last season, but have gone on to have an outstanding campaign. They've won 16 in 18 games and managed to secure themselves a home semi-final here at Kingsholm. Whatever happens on the other side of this match, one team will make history and secure their spot in a Premier 15's final. Great to have your company here with us on BBC Sports and Premier15s.com. Ready for our first semi-final of the weekend. Gloucester Hartpury up against Bristol Bears. The sun is shining here and I'm delighted to be alongside World Cup winner Rachel Burford. Rachel, both teams have had a fantastic season, but Gloucester Hartpury, they have just levelled up this year. What have you made of them?
Yeah, they really have, haven't they? They've stepped up this season, and I think, you know, that's a lot to do with the recruitment that they did. They really bolstered their size, the strength and the depth, and, you know, in all assets of their game. They've made sure that, you know, the scrum, the set piece, the line out, but also they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. You know, they've got the fewest amount of missed tackles, the defensive sets that they get through, and their work rate. I mean, that's what's been setting them apart.
Well, if head coach Dave Ward has anything to go by, Bristol Bears are feeling confident ahead of this one. However, they haven't managed to beat Gloucester Hartpury this season. Will that play on their minds?
Look, I think naturally it will play on your mind a little bit, but they probably addressed that this week and then put that in a box somewhere and left it where it is. But they're coming into this actually in a really strong position. They had a brilliant result against Exeter. Out of their last 6 away games, they won 5 of them. They've had to problem solve on the road, and I think for them, they're coming into this as a little bit of the underdogs. They'll be remembering the last game that they played against them. They only lost by 2 points, and they would have felt that they could have won that game. So I think they're coming in with full confidence and full belief that they can turn over Gloucester Hartpury today.
Well, semi-finals, they're all about small margins, aren't they? You know, what do you think these two are going to bring to the field behind us today?
Well, I'd like to think, you know, we'll see a lot of their attacking prowess that they've delivered all season long, because that's what's got them to this point. Both teams love to play from edge to edge, high ball percentages in play, and I think, you know, we're going to definitely see more of that today. I wonder if there may be some differences coming out of this afternoon, just based on what the opposition are going to be producing. But, you know, this is kind of trademark from Gloucester Hartpury. They love to put great width onto the ball. They're prepared to play at the back, and they manage to find the edges and spaces so well, and I think that's something that Gloucester Hartpury have to really manage in those wide channels. But, you know, they've also got the power game as well, and that's what's so fascinating about these two games, is that try there we see from Gloucester. Bristol can also produce this, but then you look at the power game from Bristol through the middle, using their pack, Simi Pam, Sarah Byrne, you know, big weapons within the team. But both teams can do these kind of tries and this kind of damage to one another, and that's what makes it a fascinating matchup.
These two teams would have done their homework ahead of this game. You know, are you expecting any different tactics from the sides?
Well, I think potentially you might see some small changes. You think Bristol love to keep the ball in hand. They don't kick a lot. However, they're coming up against one of the best defences. So are they going to want to, you know, go through multiple phases? That's going to be tiring, hot day, you know. So I think we may see them kick a little bit more. And I think you might see the reverse from Gloucester Hartpury. They don't mind kicking the ball away, going to put pressure on. But then the flip of that, Bristol are very good at keeping the ball alive, stretching it, and again, hot day today, defence is so much harder than attack, so we may see some slight changes, tactics from Dave Ward and from Shaw Lynn.
Now, we are so, you know, lucky because the field is going to be full of internationals. There's international talent everywhere you look. Some fantastic matchups. A few I know which have caught your eye, including, you know, Natasha Hunt, Kira Bevan. Who are you most looking forward to seeing out there?
Oh, there's too many to mention, and I know I haven't got enough time, but I think, you know, wherever you look in the pack, there's great matchups. But I think the 9, 10, 12 is going to be really fascinating. Mo Hunt against Kira Bevan, a little England versus Wales battle. You've got Claky George versus Eleanor Snow, a battle within itself within the Welsh camp. And then you've got Tatiana Hurd and Amber Reid, two of the best centres at the moment, both absolutely in form, and there's so much of what comes good of both of these teams come through those three players, so it's going to be fascinating to see those little battles go on.
Now, today's a history-making fixture. Whichever team wins, they're going to secure their place in their first ever Premier 15s final. Now, with that comes a lot of pressure, comes a lot of emotion. How much is it about, controlling that side of the game?
Yeah, it's going to play a huge factor today. I think, it is a big occasion. There will be pressure, but there's also a lot of excitement around it as well. But I think what's going to be really, really critical is that they play the game and not the occasion. If you get too lost and you worry about the outcome, that's where all the pressure comes in. So there's enough senior internationals in that team to know that they're going to have to stay in the moment, stay present and focus on the job in hand. And both teams, things will go wrong today. Both teams will have, potential purple patches, and it's about who can win those moments and manage those moments and not get ahead of themselves. That will come out on top today.
Great to get your insight, Rachel. I know you're going to be joining Nathan Middleton in commentary, who's calling this one. Now we're going to head over to him, but before that, let's hear what the coaches had to say as I caught up with them a little earlier on. Dave, a great occasion today. The Bears have made it to another Premier 15 semi-final. I know this isn't where you want your journey to come to an end. How much would it mean to go that one step further than you managed last season?
Yeah, I think it'll be huge. Obviously, I think we'll cross that bridge when we come to it tomorrow or tonight, if that's the case. But I think first job first, we've got to come here and we've got to beat an informed Gloucester team on their home patch in front of their home fans. They've got an unbelievable team, and we've got to match them really, from 1 to 15, 1 to 23, if we're going to have any sort of chance.
Now you are yet to beat them this season. How have you prepared differently ahead of today's game?
Not a lot really, which is not the answer you're probably looking for. I think that we've really focused on ourselves, and I know a lot of coaches will say that. Look, we gave Gloucester the respect they deserve. Obviously, probably on Monday, and had a look at what they do. Everyone knows everyone in this league. We know how they're going to play. We know what the threats are. It's not that Sarah Beckett's going to pick from 8, and that Mo Hunt is going to be indoors all day. So at the end of the day, it's not like it's brand new information. It's just making sure that we can put our game on the park, nullify their threats, and take our opportunities. And that is what semi-finals are all about.
Now it's great to see Alicia Butchers back in that starting 15, back in time for the semi-finals, as well as Ro Marston back from suspension. What will they bring to today's game?
Yeah, I mean, Ro, she actually missed last year's semi-final as well, so she's been waiting for this game for quite a long time. But I think just that experience, the big game players, Alicia's been training amazingly. Her lines are running, her understanding of the game, obviously her line-out play as well. And Ro, as I said, just been ticking along nicely in the background, couldn't have been involved in the last 4 weeks. It's almost like we could see a Ro Marston that's going to threaten both sides of the ball, attack and defence today, which I can't wait for.
Now, you said earlier in the week that last season maybe you weren't prepared or ready for a final. Are you ready today?
100%.
We can't wait to watch you. Thanks for your time, Dave.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Sean, a semi-final at Kingsholm. The sun is shining. Just how much would it mean to you and your side to be back here in a few weeks' time?
Oh, it means everything, and we won the league 2 weeks ago. Now it's just about this knockout rugby. People will say enjoy the day, but we're out here to win it.
Now, your pack has been ruthless this season. With an all-international outfit starting, how important will that be in your armoury today?
Yeah, massively important, making sure that we win collisions in attack and also making sure we win those collisions in defence. We know what Bristol Bears can do in their attack play, so we're really focusing on that phase play D.
And just a word on your co-captain, Natasha Hunt. After not being selected for the World Cup, she's recently been named the league's player of the season. Just how much of an asset is she, and what does that tell you about, her as a player and a leader?
That just tells you everything, doesn't it? And I always define a player when they're at their lowest, and for her to come out from being not selected to go into the World Cup to win that Player of the Year in the Allianz Prem just shows everything about that individual.
Now, you've got a good track record against Bristol Bears this season. What are you expecting from them today?
Yeah, look, track record is great. However, it just comes on this 80 minutes, it's Cup Rugby. What am I expecting? I'm expecting them to come hard at us in defence, but also massively they will look to be keeping the ball in phase play attack.
Best of luck, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Sean Lynn with Ashley Wilmot in conversation. We're also with Dave Ward there. A very good afternoon from Kingsholm. We're down to the final four in the Allianz Premier 15s. It's the first of two semi-finals. Table toppers Gloucester Hartpury welcoming neighbours Bristol Bears for this West Country derby. The reward for the victors, a place in their first ever final back here in a couple of weeks. It is a very, very warm afternoon in Gloucester. The sun just about coming through the clouds again. A bit of a muggy afternoon, 1 or 2 showers potentially expected, but this a very warm day. Very good for running rugby if you're into that sort of thing. And two teams right in form coming into this one in the semi-finals. Let's have a look at how the league table finished up after 18 rounds. Gloucester Hartpury sitting top of the pile, just 2 defeats across the 18 games, losses to Exeter in their final game of the season, and here at Kingsholm against Saracens. Bristol Bears really informed towards the back end of the campaign, securing that 4 spots over Harlequins, and their attacking stats, which I'm sure we'll dive into, are really the basis of their play. Tomorrow afternoon, don't forget, 3 o'clock from Sandy Park, it is second against third Exeter Chiefs Saracens, a repeat of last year's final, and that is how they stand. Just confirmation of that game. Nick Heath calling that one for you alongside Kat Merchant. Claire Thomas down pitch side as well at Sandy Park. Another cracker in the Premier 15s. And then we're back here at Kingsholm in the West Country in a couple of weeks. Will very much feel like a home game, of course, for Gloucester Hartpury, should they make it to that final. So alongside me for co-commentary this afternoon is the Harlequins captain and World Cup winner Rachel Burford. You've been hearing from pitchside. My name is Nathan Middleton, guiding you through this one. The first of 2 Premier 15s playoff semi-finals, and so tight, these 2 games. Arguably the most competitive season across the Premier 15s, and 2 absolute crackers for you across this June weekend. Right, let's get to the team news. Top spot already secured, of course, in their last match. Sean Lynn rested a number of key players against Exeter. All the heavy hitters do return. 9 changes for the Cherry and Whites. Co-captains Zoe Elcroft and RPA Player of the Year Natasha Hunt are back, alongside Red Roses Sarah Beckett, Tatiana Hurd and Emma Singh. In the pack, Kelsey Jones gets the nod over Neve Jones at hooker. Connie Powell misses out with a knock, with Bethan Lewis, Claky George and Mia Venner the other changes. The Cherry and Whites won both meetings in the regular season and have won 7 of the last 8 against the Bears. Bristol themselves, a much-changed team, and it took a second-half comeback, including a 12-minute hat-trick from Lark Davis to take her to 21 tries to help Bristol end their season with that win at Wasps. Dave Ward's side has a much more familiar feel. There's 11 changes to this 15. The league's top carrier, Ronita Martin, is back from suspension at number 8. She's joined in the back row by Alicia Butchers. 8 months out with a knee injury last week, she has retained her place at number 6. There's a whole new backline, except for Ella Lovibond. She shifts from inside centre to fullback, while winger Deborah Wills turns 32 today. She has 3 tries in her last 4. So the 2 teams getting ready here at Kingsholm. And Bristol Bears will be led out by Amber Reid through the tunnel. The replacements just making their way to either side. And a Bristol girl leading out her team in a playoff semi-final. Such a huge part of this effort. One of a number of players on show this afternoon. Huge disappointment of missing out on the World Cup. Amber Reid, one of those. Sarah Beckett and Natasha Hunt, a couple of others. Can they end their season with a bit of redemption? So much time, so much effort put in. As Natasha Hunt and Zoe Elcroft now run out with their mascots, the 2 co-captains of the Cherry and Whites, and a big noise here in the 2,000 or 3,000 that have come out to the home of Gloucester Rugby. Big smile on the face of Natasha Hunt, the RPA Player of the Year for this season. What a campaign she has had after such heartbreak to start it with the non-selection at the World Cup. Strap yourselves in for this one. This should very much be a cracker. Just a note on those Gloucester Hartpury shirts, the names on for the first time for those players this season. Bristol Bears, in fairness, have been doing that all through the campaign, trying to align themselves to the men's team and what they have been doing.
Okay, Gloucester. Yeah, good to go, mate.
Referee this afternoon, Alex Thomas in the middle. Harry Woolbaum and Catherine Ritchie will be assisting his efforts, and Nicky O'Donnell is the television match official. Bears will get us going then. Ellie Snowsill, just one of a number of intriguing battles across this afternoon. The penultimate round of the Allianz Premier 15s is done and dusted. It is playoff semi-final time. Bristol Bears kickers off, caught by Tatiana Hurd. We're up and running at Kingsholm. Beckett, first time with her hands on the ball. Clayton George has a look up, assesses the options and puts boot to ball. Difficult one for Lovibon to take. She does well. And the first carry for her. Bears in possession inside the opening stages. Here's Simi Pam, part of a pair of blockbuster props for the Bears, along with Sarah Byrne. Almost like having a couple of back rowers on the pitch, and there she is, the England prop. Snowsill, Reed, short ball for a centre partner, Murray. If you've never seen Bristol Bears before, expect a lot of this. They love to carry the ball, they love to throw it around, and there's very, very little kicking in their gameplay. Davis now to Reed, the distributor, and they're pinging it from side to side, down the far left touchline in front of the shed. Bevan back at number 9, that all-Welsh 9-10 pairing. Great double hit from Gloucester Hartpury in the tackle. Now they come through the back of the ruck, all bit of a mess at the moment.
No, thank you.
Bears just about managing to hold on to the ball. Another big hit coming through. Bears will continue to look to run it. They back their handling, they back their gameplay as Reed spots half a gap. Again, the double tackle, they just part slightly on the halfway line. Ronita Marston, another big hit there. This cherry and white defence is right up for it. Kelsey Jones that time. Delaney Burns now. It's a wall of cherry and white that is flying through on the Bears. Still they look to play. Now it's round the back. Mo Hunt with some defensive work. Now the call of use the ball.
Zoe onside.
Deflection on the kick, that's gathered. Tatiana Hurd gets her hands on the ball. Some space out wide for Gloucester Hartpury. Just sucking in a few more players. Hunt just had to check on the ball. Now Monaghan in the wide channel. It's Sarah Beckett. She spotted a gap, looking to try and find a flyer. Venner back to Beckett. The 1-2 combination. Sarah Beckett rewards Gloucester Hartpury's early defensive effort with a try after 3 minutes. The class out wide. The interplay between the backs and the forwards. And Sarah Beckett crosses for a 9th try this season.
Impressive start from Gloucester Hartpury. All came from their strong defensive set. And then the turnover, the quick transition, the identification to move the ball into the space. Sarah Beckett's been such an important player for them this season. Just takes the line on, links up with her play, stays on her feet, and then there's an option on the inside.
Hat-trick last time out against Sale Sharks in the cherry and white colours. Sarah Beckett, summer move from Harlequins. Heard her speak in the week just how much she's enjoying her rugby in the West Country, going back to focusing on playing rugby with a smile on her face, and she's enjoyed her new surroundings and given her side an early lead at Kingsholm. Emma Singh, first strike from the tee.
Reece, can I check the last pass?
Huge boot on her, Emma Singh, and a clean connection as well. One of the cleanest strikers in the league, and she is good for a couple of extras, and the home side, to the delight of the home fans, have a 7-0 lead.
Perfect start for them, isn't it? Really strong defensive set early on. We know that Bristol love to move the ball whip to whip, but Gloucester just holding all of their connections, and then as soon as they get the opportunity, shifting the ball to the outside.
Response from the Bears needed. Lost both fixtures, as we've been hearing, in the 2 regular league meetings. 1917 in round 10 at Shaftesbury Park. 36-5 at the Al Pass Arena. That was in round 2. Some of those early fixtures just slightly convoluted by the fact no World Cup players in a lot of those. There's one of those who start out in New Zealand. Hurd to Singh. A recent addition to the Red Roses setup. Mo Hunt, that's very clever. Spots some space in behind. Lovibond across. Here is the Bears fullback. Again, this double tackle. It's been a feature of the Cherry and White's defensive planning. There again, Monaghan and Oldcroft in there that time. Marston under pressure from Kelsey Jones. Kira Bevan's got a kicking game herself. Turns countrywoman Claky George.
Okay, stay Gloucester.
Their territory kicking has been a huge part of this Gloucester Hartpury effort this season. That's a clever take from Lovibond, looking to try and counter now for the Bears. Not the best pass, picked up on the bounce. This might work out for Dave Ward's side. Good step back in. Shed making some noise on the far side, just trying to influence the referee's decision. And it's the halfway line for the Bears. Short ball given to Amy Coles. The ball is spilled and Gloucester Hartpury just pouncing on these half chances at the moment. Hunt demanding the ball. George to Matthews in the channel. Bumps off Delaney Burns. Claky George uses the grubber kick. That's a difficult one. That's tapped back in. And through comes Rugman, trying to hack the ball forward. Advance on the plate. Beckett kicks it forward. Difficult moments there. Deborah Wills on the far side, just trying to deal with that grubber kick from Claky George. And the knock on, and then nearly caused herself a bit more bother.
Time's off. Should just be on the scrum.
Again, it's just the relentless defence from Gloucester Hartpury, forcing the errors from onto Bristol. We know they like to play to the edge, but they've got to, the decoy runners have got to be more of an option. At the moment, they're able to just slide off, get these double hits in, and then in the end force the error.
Just give it a chance. Good. Let's go, time's on. Push him up. Patience, as we agreed, okay?
Scrum then to Gloucester Hartpury. Far right-hand side of the field. Second time in the semi-finals for the Cherry and Whites. In 2018, that was when it was a 2-legged playoff. Lost both games to Saracens. Bristol losing out in the closing stages. Their first appearance in the semi-finals last year, losing to Exeter. This, of course, as we're heading to the 10-minute mark. First scrum of the game. And we'll speak about it this afternoon, but the international class throughout these two teams, with Muir, Kelsey Jones and Delgado up against Pam, Davis and Byrne. Some quality operators at the front of the scrum, as well as at the back, of course. Better this time. Good scrum from the Cherry and Whites, and they have the advantage. What can they create from it? George to Hurd. Back inside to Lund with her hands on the ball. Good stepping from the outside centre, looking to try and run back into the heavy track kick and work some space. Hunt did well under some Bears pressure there. Malloy trying to stop things. Monaghan helps it on. A little bit scrappy at the moment from the Cherry and Whites.
On me on the 5.
Alex Thomas just going back for that advantage from the scrum, and a penalty at scrum time. Be a big pat on the back for the Gloucester Hartpury A, an early settler for when it comes to set pieces.
It's so important, isn't it? The platform to play off. Strike rate for Gloucester Hartpury off the scrum has been excellent this season. So to assert themselves early on allows them to get themselves into a prime position here to strike again.
Not been the best at line-out time, 80%, which is 6th in the league, Gloucester Hartpury, and that one overcooked as well from Kelsey Jones. Malloy picking up the scraps.
Play on, first player.
Respond now in defence. Here is Delaney Burns. One of those newcomers impressed in England's Grand Slam during the Six Nations, Delaney Burns. And such a huge part of
Back. Mo, stop, Mo.
this Bristol effort. Leading both their line-out takes and hitting attacking rucks as the Bears do get out of their own 22, but not too far. And leading on the scoreboard, Gloucester Hartpury. They say leading in possession and territory as well, because the Bears have barely been in the Gloucester Hartpury half at the moment.
Yeah, they've really struggled, haven't they, to penetrate the line against Gloucester. Got to ask more questions, though, to get out of this 22.
Bristol 9 out, Catherine.
Jones not quite on the money for a first line out, and that one overcooked again. Missed her first two as Kelsey Jones, the Welsh hooker. Very good read, so nearly by Mia Venner there.
Step away.
Hit player as she grabbed the ball. Another clever kick from Bevan. Emma Singh. The call is backwards. And she launches one upfield and into space, and this might work out for Gloucester Hartpury. Sarah Byrne back there doing a defensive work. How many props in the world would you be seeing covering at fullback? Sarah Byrne is not like other props. Yeah, slightly more unstructured at the moment now.
She's got to move.
Natasha Hunt playing right on the edge there, but came back to not concede the penalty. Well, I spoke pre-game saying Bristol will look to run everything as Singh whacks the ball into Kira Bevan. So line out to Gloucester Hartpury, but it's not gone too well so far with two missed. But certainly seeing a lot more kicking from Bristol. Kira Bevan in particular putting boot to ball.
Yeah, certainly are, and I think that's got something to do with the way that Gloucester Hartpury defend. They often leave the breakdowns. They've got more numbers on feet, which makes the front field look really full. Kira Bevan just trying to challenge the backfield a little bit, pull him out of position. But during the line-out, two major misses for Gloucester Hartpury.
Space.
Which you wouldn't expect, considering the talent and the calibre of players that they've got operating within that line-out.
Space, Gloucester. Bristol on the line.
Alex Thomas wanting that gap, that clear gap for Jones to aim for. Muird trots over,
Okay, Lord, just open
and
that
potentially a new call. Kelsey Jones was 4 out of 5 starting for Wales in the Six Nations, and there a settler for her, this time on the money. And the Gloucester Hartpury driving more goes to work. Hunt down the blind side. Fancies a bit of a dart. No room there for Rugman. Muir now with the carry. Great work from the Gloucester Hartpury prop. Quick ball for Hunt. Hurd landing a bit deeper. Beckett the try scorer. Clever dummy just holding onto the ball. Takes her side into the Bears' half. George, the dummy and the step. Back into some dark blue shirts. Here is Tatiana Hurd running up against Malloy. So fascinating how the battle between herself and Amber Reid will go today at 12. Two contrasting styles of play, but both can be brilliant on their day as Muir looks right in the mood for carrying this afternoon the loose head. Here is Zoe Oldcroft.
You please. Mo.
Speaking the week, Sean Lynn, just how important Zoe Oldcroft has been, and Dave Ward also complimenting her. Loverbond fancies a run out, gives it to Wills. Bevan to Davis. Still a bit of vexing work here needs to do from Snow, so that is brilliant from the Bears fly half, the dummy kick. Upfield it goes to Singh. What was the Gloucester Hartpury fullback got? Runs into Pam, bursts through Pam. The physicality of this game just cranking through the gears. George, a flat pass for Beckett, was wonderfully flighted, just unable to be taken by the number 8. It's been a frantic opening 15 minutes, Rachel Burford.
Yeah, and I think you can see that some tired bodies out there under these heat conditions. Just so unlucky there, Sarah Beckett. Absolute quality, speed of ball from Mo Hunt. Had an overlap on the outside. It's here. Whenever I played against Eleanor Snowsill, that's the first thing we talk about. Watch the dummy.
Okay. Height, please, buttons up. Let's go.
Of course, the two fly halves today, very much a part of the Welsh setup. They played 10-12 together in the last couple of games of the Six Nations. Claky George is probably seen as the long-term successor to Ellie Snowsill at 10. Playing in that creative 10-12 slots the last couple of games. So maybe a couple of years together as two playmakers. And Gloucester Hartpury with that penalty advantage from the first scrum, and they've got a good drive on here as well. Great drive from the home side. But illegally, says the referee. They were going forward, but it was spinning round. And well, 1-1 at scrum time.
And there's so much confidence there coming from Bristol Bears out of that, knowing that they were holding their own. Gloucester Hartpury coming round illegally. Just relieves some of that pressure and actually gets them into Gloucester Hartpury's half.
Other side, must go straight.
And it's probably as far forward as they might have been with the ball.
In the line. Yes, you're dominant, but you must stay straight, please.
They've had a lot of it, just not much in the Gloucester Hartpury half. 5 in the line out for the league's top try scorer, Lark Davis, 21 so far for the campaign after that hat-trick against Wasps. First time into the line for her, but a big pour back from Oldcroft, reading her Red Roses teammates, and then the penalty coming for the Bears. 2 penalties within a minute. And they're working their way towards this Gloucester Hartpury try line.
There's Claire Malloy that reacted the quickest there, pounced onto Alex Matthews. She's world class at turning the ball over at the breakdown.
The names you want to see, isn't it? Your Malloys against Matthews. We spoke about the fly halves. It's Reed against Hurd. Individual battles throughout these two teams could play a huge part in the results across 80 minutes. This one better from Davis, taken by Butchers, and it's a good set driving maul from the Bears. Very well set. Reed and Murray, after so many times this season, have come in for the extra ballast, and Gloucester Hartpury unable to deal with it at the moment. Crabbing slightly to the left. There's 12 players inside this driving maul. Snowsill going across. Difficult one for Singh to deal with. Taken well under pressure from Wills. She knew she had the advantage. Will come back for the penalty. And you can see, well, their driving maul usually ends up when it's near the try line with Lark Davis on the back, and throwing the centres in again there, Bristol Bears.
Yeah, it's a weapon for them, isn't it? They rely on the operation of this driving maul. Lark Davies, 20 plus tries this year. I'm sure a handful of those, if not more, have been from the driving maul. And why not just add some extra weight from the backs just to give it that little extra nudge over. This gives them a great opportunity to strike straight back against Gloucester.
First things first, find the player in the line out. Most tries in the league from this sort of set piece, but that one has gone astray. Burns under pressure in the air. She puts her head in her hands, Delaney Burns, frustrated there. You've got to credit the Gloucester Hartpury jumpers in Sam Monaghan and Zoe Oldcroft, two of the best in the business in the line out, and really put Burns under some pressure there.
Yeah, it just seemed like they overcomplicated it. A couple of dummies, bit of movement, didn't quite get the lift right. And then when you've got some serious operators in Monaghan and Oldcroft, such good defensive readers come to the line out. They would have done analysis on Bristol Bears all week, knowing what their options are.
Of course, there is someone who'll be very much a part of this Bristol line-out effort, Abby Ward. 7 or 8 weeks ago, I heard Dave Ward saying in the week, until pregnancy and the birth of their child. Still been training, still been in the gym. I'm sure still very much a part of the Bears' line-out thoughts. Gloucester Hartpury just crabbing to the right, so Beckett just tries to stable things up. Malloy all over the number 8 to try and play it short and just work their way out, create a bit of space for Claky George to find a better angle. Still with a couple of carries, Gloucester Hartpury.
No, don't climb over the rack.
Mo Hunt using all that experience, using the time. Now George with the kick, end over end. Coles actually kept that in. Not quite the Bears winger. And that will result in a very favourable outcome for the home side. Throw into their own line from that George kick.
You can see what Amy Coles was trying to do, but just lost their balance just as she took the ball. But just the game management from Gloucester Hartpury, there's no panic. They're deep in their 22. They've been under pressure for the last 10 minutes. Just back their process, know what they're trying to work on, get the ball out and get out of the danger zone.
Bit of a mixed bag from Kelsey Jones. What's she got here? Monaghan, the dummy jump. Oldcroft at the back off the top. Hunt, George. Beckett, the hard runner through the middle. Sits down Sarah Byrne with a hard carry.
No.
A rock meeting a hard place. Huge collision in the middle. Slow ball this for the host. Hurd helps it on to Singh. She knocks it on, so Bears back in possession with the advantage. One on the floor will go back. What a hit that was between Sarah Beckett and Sarah Byrne.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you see Sarah Byrne going backwards. Here's Sarah Beckett. She's in the form of her life at the moment, playing in the Cherry and Whites. Just backs herself, takes her on. Sarah Byrne just gets the wrong side and leaves Eleanor Snowstill to have to clear up after. Just works as a speed bump, really.
It's part of a couple of signings that Gloucester Hartpury made over last season. Just trying to turn this side from a mid-table one into one that can compete in the top 4. The likes of Sarah Beckett, Sam Monaghan coming in as well. Still a lot of these players have come through the Hartpury system. It's a mixture of both as the Bears get another penalty for the scrum, really getting parity at this set piece. Wills in off her wing. Ball just slips out. I'm going to give the players a bit of sympathy here, Rach, and you can tell me if I'm right or not. The heat down the pitch side, you were there with Ashley pre-match. It is so warm. Will there be sweat? Will there be that dew picking up? We've seen a number of handling errors that highly skilled players you wouldn't expect to see, but is there that slippiness on the ball when it gets to this level of heat?
Yeah, it definitely can get a bit dewy down there, but I think it's a bit of nerves as well that are creeping in for those errors. You just earned a penalty opportunity from the scrum. I'm not sure it's the right decision to tap and go. And then Deborah Wilsh just probably not expecting it, or maybe not quite on her timing of her line. See, she's reaching for the ball there. It's an opportunity again gone for Bristol.
If you're just joining us, just over the halfway mark of this first half, Sarah Beckett's try converted by Emma Singh. The difference between these two sides, 28 degrees we've got on our phone thermometers here in Gloucester Hartpury. It's still, I mentioned pre-game, slightly cloudy overhead, very, very warm conditions for the players. Potential chance of a shower, but the sun coming through now. George again turning the Bears forwards. Lovibon, she's seen a lot of ball. The chase that from Maud Muir. Mr. Hartpury's tackling very much on the money. Highest tackle success rate in the league, 89%. As Oldcroft just tries to make things a little difficult for Snowsill. Here is George. Fancies a little dart, does the Gloucester Hartpury fly half. Good run from the number 10. Made a debut at 17 in the back row, now converted to fly half. She is really excelling in this partnership with Mo Hunt. Sitting right on the money as Muir skips through one challenge, tries to break a second as well. She's been a carrying monster so far, the Gloucester Hartpury prop. Oldcroft, Hurd, good pace on this attack. Lewis comes in. Hunt desperately wants quick ball. Hurd now. Big handoff trying to get away from Cunningham. Just up to the 22. Malloy, using all that experience, the former Ireland captain, just slows things down for half a second. Bears defensive line resets. Here come the Cherry and Whites again. Lewis helping it on, lovely hands. Kelsey Jones now, here is Muir. Beginning to enjoy themselves, the home side in the circus. Not rolling away the call, the penalty advantage, and that was quick ball speed from the host. You can see what they can do when they've got front foot ball.
Time's off, let's get some water on as well. I agree.
It's just quality speed of ball, which then just doesn't allow Bristol Bears to get reset, to be able to then put any pressure and get off the line, because they're still backtracking. And when you've got players like Maud Muir running riot, pulling defenders in left, right and centre, it's going to create options elsewhere. Every player just being ready for the ball to come out. Brilliant pick up there from Maud again. The work rate from the players in this heat.
Not wrong, you're the wrong side.
Good time to have a water break for them, because the temperature standing on the pitch is so much hotter than it is in the stands.
Quite glad for a bit of shade in the press box area we're sat in. There's another look at this first try from Gloucester Hartpury, the interchange between Venner and Sarah Beckett.
Yeah, Beckett does so well, gives the offload and then just stays on the inside, doesn't give up and think Mia Venner's going to go in, stays alive, and then she gets the reward back on the inside. Clever play from the two.
Some happy home fans in the shed. I'm sure they're making their West Country rivals Bristol feeling very welcome today, and Simi Pam just getting some treatment. Renita Marston as well, the walking wound. I thought this might happen in terms of an actual drinks break. With just gone the halfway point of the first half. We'll keep mentioning it if you are just joining us, but the temperatures are stifling. Very, very difficult to play under. And you expect to see potentially one or two stops for some cramp as well as we get through the game, and how and when these two sets of coaches use their bench will be imperative in the second half. Who is going to last the full 80? Who is going to put the shift in the sunshine at Kingsholm? A reminder for you, this is the first of two playoff semi-finals tomorrow from Sandy Park. Nick Heath, Kat Merchant and Claire Thomas bringing you that one here on BBC Sport websites, app and iPlayer, as well as Premier15s.com. And then in a couple of weeks as well, that same location, we'll be back here at Kingsholm for the final, crowning the best team in the land, the Allianz Premier 15s champions. One of Gloucester Hartpury and Bristol will make it through to the final for the first time. The head coach Sean Lynn there, alongside James Forrester, who's the new Gloucester Hartpury CEO, announced this week. Former Gloucester men's player, of course. Couple of caps for England as well. Now trying to lead the commercial effort and driving this club forward. It's been a brilliant season on the pitch, 16 wins from 18, finished top of the pile. Now trying to get to the final. Good take from Aldcroft. Good driving maul, Matthews spinning, twisting and turning. What have the Gloucester Hartpury pack got here from close range? 5 metres for them to try and get a second score. Hunt just delaying things. Advantage on the play to Bears, and they had a bit of space out there potentially, but referee has stopped proceedings, and a waited opportunity for the hosts.
Yeah, it's disappointing that he blew their whistle early then, because Bristol Bears had acres of space on the left-hand side.
There we go. They're all on cycle.
That'll be disappointing for Gloucester Hartpury.
Here's your mark.
Good entry into the 22. Bristol did really well, disrupted the driving maul, which then pulled them all out of position to try and organise again. And Mo Hunt pass just started to die on Maud Muir, and she couldn't take it. The pressure is still on Bristol at the moment.
Alicia Butcher's there, 8 months out with an ACL, sustained in the first game of the World Cup, back against Wasps last week, and what an arena to play your second game of the season, playoff semi-final time, but shows you how much she is rated by Dave Ward. It's a good initial shove by Gloucester Hartpury. Mo Hunt all over Roe Marston. Great work from for Gloucester Hartpury 9. Still some work for the Bears to do. Burns with the carry.
No, thank you.
Bevan taking a time. Under pressure was Oldcroft again, trying to get her hand on it, but Bevan has done well then. With some decent distance, the Welsh number 9. Gloucester Hartpury will start this attack from just outside the Bears 22.
Yeah, it's well executed by Kira Bevan there, under a lot of pressure, 5 metres out from her own try line. Just looking to get a bit of a breather. Happy to kick the ball off, recognise that Gloucester Hartpury's line out isn't fully functioning. This gives them an opportunity to put pressure on here.
Jones.
You got 6, same as you.
6 to aim for. Monaghan in that middle pod. Good take from the Irish second row. Good drive this as well from the Cherry and Whites, earning themselves another advantage. Free play for Mo Hunt to try and create something. Clakey George looking over the top. Difficult one for Wills to deal with again. The bounce is fine to Ruckman. Here is Ellie Ruckman towards the try line, just short. I think she tried to stretch over there. So close. We'll come back though for the penalty advantage.
There's a lovely bit of execution there from Clakey George, recognising the outside, just a small window of space to put the ball into. Rugman's been so good this season in the wide channels.
It's not a blood stoppage.
No thanks. Little nudge from George. Gloucester Hartpury line out will reset as we see this cowing bounce again for Rugman. And thought she might have stretched. He actually was knocked out of her hand, the Gloucester Hartpury winger. Another prolific season, 22 in all competitions, including the Cup for her. But it's now with the forwards. The Gloucester Hartpury pack just losing their footing on that one. Hunt directing her forwards around the corner. Keeping it tight. That's a good pick and drive to the right-hand side. Then the ball comes loose. Illegally, says Alex Thomas. Someone's lost a boot. Bethan Lewis just still retie shoelaces.
Leave me referee.
Gloucester Hartpury had Jamie McDonald in adventure this week, giving a pep talk. He's the world record holder for the most miles on a treadmill. Canada coast to coast unaided. Talking through that perseverance, the drive, the determination, going to dark places. And one or two are going to have to go there this afternoon in this heat.
Okay. On the line. Gloucester, come in, please.
What has this Gloucester Hartpury line out got? Great attacking platform. Monaghan runs to the front this time. Through come the supporting cast from the circus, rolling to the right. Bears throwing bodies in. It grabs again to the right from the hosts, towards the try line, celebrations, and there's the second score. The power from the Gloucester Hartpury pack. Kelsey Jones comes away with it. The Welsh hooker right to the back of that forward effort. Her 7th try, a second in half an hour for the Cherry and Whites. Excellent work from Sean Inside.
Yeah, they've been banging on the door, haven't they? Trying to get in and over the Bristol try line. Finally, the line-out functions. The driving ball goes really well. Bristol trying to disrupt it from every angle that they can, but it's just not possible. And Kelsey Jones started missing 2 of her first line-outs, but then delivers when it matters.
Pats on the head all round for Kelsey Jones. Big smile then for the Welsh hooker. As Berth has mentioned, tricky start to the afternoon, but for that to settle. The line-outs certainly improved since then. Emma Singh with this bouncy kicking routine. couple of long strides. She tries to hook this one round with the right boot. 2 from 2 for her. And Gloucester Hartpury extending their lead, 14-0 to the good. And everything going Sean Lynn's side's way at the moment.
Another brilliant strike. And in games like today, conversions matter. The extra 2 points could come down to it. Here, just another look at that driving maul. Just all connected. Gloucester Hartpury. Bristol not able to splinter it or get through the middle.
The Shed enjoying the work of the Gloucester Hartpury pack. The league leaders on course for the Premier 15's final. Venner.
Come backwards.
Hit by Murray. Play kept alive. Muir. A lot of work for the Gloucester Hartpury loose head. George. Hurd.
Shoes.
Slow at the moment.
2-8 stay.
High up and under. Good height and distance for George. Excellent take, you have to say, from Lovibond. Playing inside centre against Wasp. Is a very versatile player across the back line. Took that very well. Davis, one of those who'll have been in tricky deals and spots before. One of those senior players that needs to step up. Another mistake from the Bears. Things just not quite clicking. When Bears are on it, they're running it from everywhere. They're throwing the ball out of tackles. It's just not quite, in this first half an hour or so, gone right.
Yeah, well, they're really struggling to break down Gloucester Hartpury. And just for Gloucester Hartpury, the game management, again, as soon as the ball slows up in the breakdown, they just take their time, they get set, and they look to put boot to ball. And for a kick to compete there, just put it a little bit higher, allows Rugman to get under and put some pressure on Lovibond, who's been great in the backfield, marshalling, taking and receiving the kicks really well.
Time's on. Mark. Yeah, it was knocked on by Bristol.
Some running repairs there, I think, for Alex Thomas. He might have got a knock during one of the plays.
Completely on that today.
Still smart about it. Phoebe Murray has thrived in that centre partnership with Amber Reid. Won 8 of their 9 last games, did the Bears. It was 3 losses towards the end of February, but they've really kicked on in the second half of the season. Ran Saracens closed a few weeks ago. It's an impressive win at home against Exeter. Real statement win that pretty much secured this top 4. 4 backs lined up for Gloucester Hartpury to the blind side here. Who was one of those? George. Lund backs herself, trying to take it forward, dragged out. Venner on the supporting line on the touch line. Just dragged out, and good cover defence from the Bears.
Yeah, important tackle there by Amber Reid. Lund managed to step inside and offload. Could have been line break territory. Just manages to kick out, but Amber Reid does enough, knows exactly where the touchline is.
Okay, here we come, Bristol, let's go.
Butchers the dummy. Burns goes up again. Oldcroft so close to trying to get a hand in there. Burns trying to drive it forward. Bevan dummies the kick. Mo Hunt read that one. 2 snipey scrum halves. Clever play from Kira Bevan. Left the ball, released, and got up again. Stole a couple of metres on the ground. Davis, Butchers, hit by our opposite number, Matthews.
Use, please.
Mark Davis, the acting number 9. Snowser with the dummy kick, and that's brought her a couple of metres space. Here is Bevan. Just lost her footing there when she tried to sidestep. Matthews thought she'd stolen it, but ball not out the call. Penalty to the Bears.
Some great footwork and vision from both Eleanor Stosill and Kira Bevan. See, that's an area that Gloucester Hartpury are trying to pressure the kick, especially when they're in their own half and in their 22. Bristol Bears need something before the half time.
Again, the referee just making sure this clear line between the two sets of forwards. Butcher's up at the front. Lewis gets her hands on the ball. Well, I thought she did. The referee, more importantly, said it was a Bristol hand first.
Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? They do all the hard work. They manage the storm of having Gloucester, in their own half and in their 22. Give themselves an opportunity. And a simple error just gives the ball back to Gloucester Hartpury.
There is already a bit of silverware in the Gloucester Hartpury trophy cabinet. Hartpury University beating Edinburgh, Bucks Super Rugby champions. Certain Mo Hunt coaches that side. It's part of the day job with Hartpury University. But there's been a lot of chat. Sean Lynn speaking, we want to win the thing. A couple of comments as well. No trophy given for coming top of the table. Another penalty coming Gloucester Hartpury's way. Well, they had the better exchanges at scrum time. Bristol seemed to respond, but another tick for the Gloucester Hartpury front row. Laura Delgado there getting a pat on the back from Sarah Beckett.
Both sides' set piece haven't really been settled, have they?
What a kick from Claky George. A couple of minutes to go until half-time, and a lovely nudge to get her team inside the 22, and another excellent attacking platform this to build from.
You just see all the Gloucester Hartpury players get together, get their plan in order. Everyone know their role, know what they need to execute here.
Thanks, Boxy. Let's go, Gloucester, come on, tempo, please.
Alex Thomas, no, not wanting any delays from Gloucester Hartpury. Not a team that particularly you think would be into time-wasting tactics. Keen still for them to get on with proceedings. I'm sure they're keen to just ride out the end of this first half. Lewis, the taker. Scored from the driving maul last time through Kelsey Jones. This one much further out. Hunt with the darts. George, short to Sarah Beckett, barging her way through, brushes off two tacklers before being brought down. Hunt now, Oldcroft, Monaghan on her shoulder, good carry from the Gloucester Hartpury co-captain, then the knock-on. Such promise in that attack, completely disappears. Advantage is gone. Bears now from deep. They have the most tries in the league from their own 22. Have they got something here to produce?
Stay.
Time called off. There's
got a head injury.
A head injury on the field.
I think it's a head injury, we'll stop.
So the physios come on. Sarah Byrne holding the back of her head.
Reece, can we just clear the injury?
For me, just pull down.
Sarah
Time to get a bit of water and some fluids on while Sarah Byrne receives a bit of treatment.
Okay, I'm staying that side. I don't think so for me. So Nicky, we've got 10 down with a head injury.
Clock just not quite synced up with the stadium. Just over a minute to go as Dave Ward makes his way to the changing rooms, thinking of the words he needs. His side at the moment in a tricky position. Two scores down. Sarah Beckett and Kelsey Jones with the tries. Both converted by Emma Singh. As we have another look at how the Sarah Byrne injury might have come across. We're just looking at that turnover from Gloucester Hartpury. There's actually a shot in there from Sam Monaghan coming into the back of the ruck, and you can see Sarah Byrne holding onto her head straight after that. This is where things didn't quite go right for the hosts.
Alex, we've just looked and it's just a collision with a leg in the counter rucks. There's no foul play.
Thanks. You okay?
Confirmation from the officials. No foul play from Sam Monaghan. Sarah Beckett being an absolute bulldozer this afternoon. Huge carries from the Gloucester Hartpury number 8.
All good?
And power game from them.
Reece, it was in the
physicality.
before the stoppage for the
Sean
scrum.
Lynn spoke about looking forward to it, wanted his players to be up for the physical aspect of this game.
There was no foul play, mate.
You have to say they've responded magnificently so far.
Just over a minute left, girls. Okay, height again, please. Height.
Possibly last set piece of this first 40 minutes. Bristol Bears put in. Can they head into the sheds with something to take from this first half? Nothing on the board so far from Dave Ward's side.
Set. Okay, stay high, stay high, stay high.
At the feet of Roe Marston.
Better advantage.
Bevan held up. They go back for the penalty.
One. Angle. Spread. Mo.
Just a word here to the Gloucester Hartpury co-captain from Alex Thomas.
Number of penalties now at scrum time. I need an improvement at scrum, please. That was one, not driving straight.
And just a warning for Gloucester Hartpury. Accumulation of penalties and something to maybe think about, as this will be the final play of the half. Snow still making a good touch.
Okay, on you. Up it up. Step, step, step.
Dave Ward spoke about his side being the underdogs of the four in the playoff semi-finals, but they've had some big scalps. They know they can, on their day, compete with the best in this league. Bevan, Marston. Good front foot ball this for the Bears. Cunningham, Snowson. Whip ball from Reid to Lobibon. Wilson are outside. That is ripped from Gloucester Hartpury. Muir has the ball, and is that enough for the Cherry and Whites? I think Mo Hunt has had enough. And yes, she has. Let's all take a breather. Let's all take a break and get on some fluids. And Gloucester Hartpury, as is their wont, 2 tries to the good. A very steady and accomplished first 40 minutes from the league leaders. Top of the pile after 18 rounds, and at the moment heading towards a final back here at Kingsholm in a couple of weeks. 2 tries, one after 4 minutes from Sarah Beckett, one after the half an hour mark from Kelsey Jones. And Gloucester Hartpury very much in control of this first playoff semi-final. 14 points to 0 they lead against the Bristol Bears. Confirmation of that score. And we get some half-time reaction from Rachel Burford, who's gone pitch side with Ashley Wilmot. But let's have a look at the tale of some of that first half and how it has played out. Gloucester Hartpury, as you can see, dominating the possession. Nearly 2/3 of it they had. Lots of carries from the Bears. They do lead the league in both metres carried and metres made. They kick it the least out of anyone. Although we have seen Kira Bevan put a number of boots to ball. And you can see there again, metres made despite less possession, Bristol. I think the penalties conceded not quite kept up at the moment with some of the stats from that first half. And that Gloucester Hartpury territory as well. 3/4 of territory has been with the Bears as a light rain shower just breaks out here in the West Country. I'm sure people will be hoping that that light rain shower will bring a few cooler temperatures as well, because it's a really tricky, warm afternoon for these 2 sets of players. As confirmation there if you're just joining us. 14 points to 0. Gloucester Hartpury lead. So just a reminder, this is the first of 2 playoff semi-finals across the BBC Sport website, BBC app, as well as BBC iPlayer and Premier15s.com. Remember, every single Allianz Premier 15s live stream game to a round that we do show is on Premier15s.com. And this is the first of 2 playoff semi-finals. Tomorrow at Sandy Park, Nick Heath and Kat Merchant are your commentary team. Claire Thomas will be guiding things alongside those 2 from pitchside. Coverage and build-up from 2:45 at Sandy Park. And then the final in a couple of weeks. Again, all those same channels, BBC Sport website and app, as well as BBC iPlayer and Premier15s.com. If you've missed any of the other games, of course, to see how the season has panned out, you can go to the websites and watch them all back. All there for your viewing pleasure. And Premier 15's social channels as well will have you covered over the next couple of weeks. Really important feature there this week, shown on Deborah Wills and her incredible return from giving birth. Just 17 weeks after giving birth, she was back playing Premier 15's rugby, back in the gym, back doing work with her club. And the full feature of that, we might be able to show you just a small bit of that at half-time, after both Rachel Burford and Ashley Wilmot have guided through you some of the best bits of that first half. A couple of guests as well, hopefully, for you, from both Bristol and Gloucester Hartpury. We'll be joining them. So second half commentary to come, of course, here from Kingston. We'll bring you all the build-up and the final stages. Can Gloucester Hartpury close this out? Can Bristol Bears make a comeback? And a really intriguing second 40 minutes to come up. It's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility with the attacking options that Bristol Bears have to get themselves back in the game, but with the territory and possession that they've had so far, Gloucester Hartpury, you have to say, very much well on top. Of course, we'll get some thoughts on some of the other issues as well around the women's game. The 32 Red Roses contracts announced this week. 6 transition contracts as well with them, under, of course, John Mitchell, who will be joining after the Men's World Cup. Lewis Deacon will take charge of WXV, along with Lou Meadows and Sarah Hunter, part of a new coaching team. I'm part of the commentary team that will be guiding the Red Roses through up until the Rugby World Cup in 2025. So let's get a bit of reaction from that first half. Rachel Burford has made her way to the pitch side, where she is joined by Ashley Wilmot and a couple of guests as well. We'll be joining them just shortly. Here's Ash.
And yes, I'm here with Rachel, and it's just actually started to rain. The heavens have just opened, which wasn't what we were expecting, considering it was about 28 degrees earlier. Rachel, we're halfway through the first semi-final of the weekend. Just what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, I think it's been such a frantic half, hasn't it? It's been back and forth, lots of errors as well from both teams. Some things not quite functioning, but we're also seeing some elements that are really coming alive, especially in that to the end of that second half. I mean, the scoreboard 14-0. Gloucester Hartpury managing to get the 2 tries. They kick-started things 3 minutes into the game with Sarah Beckett dotting over, and what a fantastic try that was. It was a quality try, but we talked about how strong Gloucester Hartpury's defence is, and it all came from that, the double tackles, forcing the error on the opposition, and then the opportunity just pouncing on. And what I love about Gloucester Hartpury is that they're alive to every opportunity that they get. Quick transition into attack. Sarah Beckett does so well, gets through 2 defenders, offloads, but then stays alive on the inside, and that's the difference to getting over there.
Yeah, fantastic way to get this semi-final started. Now, we did mention as well, we were seeing a few different things tactically at the top of the show. What have you seen from those teams?
I think we're definitely seeing Bristol look to put boot to ball a little bit more when they're not managing to be able to break the line due to the fact that Gloucester Hartpury double tackles everybody on their feet, so they're not finding any space in the front field. So they've been looking to kick the ball a little bit more into that backfield and try and apply pressure on them.
I mean, speaking about boot to ball, or maybe not boot to ball, we had a great dummy, didn't we, from Eleanor Snowsill a few moments, probably about 20 minutes ago, but it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Eleanor Snowsill does that in every single game, and every time we analyse her as a player, you always say watch out for that dummy, whether she's in a Welsh shirt or in a Bristol Bears shirt, you do see it. But that's like heads up rugby. She's looking at what's in front of her, not just going through the motions and thinking I've set up to kick here so I'm going to kick. Actually, she's keeping her head up like any good 10 and playmaker would do.
Bristol Bears did manage to keep Gloucester Hartpury away from the try line for another 27 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes into that first half, and then Kelsey Jones, it was a team effort. Kelsey Jones though claiming that second try.
Yeah, well, they'd been, like you said, banging on the door for a long time, and Bristol had done so well to keep them out initially, but it was the infringements. When you're under pressure, penalties are often given away, and it gives them a shot, puts them into the corner. And Kelsey Jones had a couple of line-outs at the start of the game, not going her way, but really found her form. And then it's all about the pack. Any line-out is never a single-person effort, and it's the way that they go to work. Bristol Bears there, you can see they've splintered off, they're not working collectively, and it just allows them to have all that momentum to get over.
Now, we've just been joined by Gloucester Hartpury winger Kelly Smith. Kelly, 14-0, a good, decent scoreline. Your team will be pleased with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll go in at half-time with heads up. I think it's been a steady start to the game. I think you can tell both teams are nervous, but I think we've been really fortunate enough to get onto the board with the likes of Sarah Beckett carrying really, really hard, and Kelsey Jones again finishing off those tries that we really need.
An occasion like this, Rachel, you do expect a few nerves, but they do have a fantastic crowd in today to support them.
Yeah, I think naturally any big occasion you're going to have nerves about it, because it shows that you care about what the occasion is. And look, I think 40 minutes under your belt, they've started to suss each other out. The opportunities both teams have had in their opposition 22s, but not been able to take them and execute them every single time. So hopefully we'll see in the second half they'll still create those opportunities, but actually be able to take their chances.
Kelly, I know you've been in camp this week, although you're injured, you've been amongst it all. What have they been pinpointing in training ahead of today's game?
I think just getting our basics absolutely right. I think going in, getting our set moves right, getting our backs plays clinical, and I think we can see that. We're starting to see it being really on top. I think coming out into the second half is going to be really exciting. All season Gloucester have come out second half, and that's where we've played.
I mean, all season you have been in form. You've won 16 and 18 games. I mean, this would be the fairy tale finish, wouldn't it? Getting the win today and coming back here in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what we want. We want the win, but I think for now our job is to get the second half under our belts, win, and we focus on next week. But today's job is what we need to focus on.
And in terms of game management, Rachel, Gloucester Hartpury, you can see where they're trying to do that.
Yeah, I think, with Natasha Hunt and Cakey George, any time that the ball really slows down, they just take a moment, get set, and they kick it. They don't try and overplay anywhere. The same, even when they're on their own 20 time, everything's really calmed, controlled, nobody's panicking, and I think that's what's allowed them to edge their way up the pitch today, because they're not overplaying in the wrong areas, and when they're under pressure, they're able to execute and get themselves out of those areas really calm and composed.
Kelly, it's half-time. They're going to be having quite the chat. Let's not get Bristol Bears back into their game. What do you think is going to be being said?
I think for us, it's about digging deep now. It's about working hard for each other, doing that next job mentality, okay? We make that tackle, what's our next job? And working hard for each other, and that will be what wins us the game.
I mean, that is what's going to win them the game at the end of the day. Do you think they're going to be able to keep Bristol Bears out?
Well, I think they need to recognise Bristol Bears have been in this position before, come out in the second half and turn results around, so they can't rest on the laurels in that first half for certain. And I think, it will take 80 minutes. Bristol Bears did create opportunities there. They didn't have as much possession or territory, so if they can come out and put those stats in their favours, then it is going to take another big 40 minutes performance for Gloucester Hartpury to take the win.
And you do have quite the bench as well to utilise in the second half, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got runners, we've got playmakers, playmakers and we've got big ball carriers coming on. So yeah, be exciting.
Well, best of luck. As I know you've got to do your team talks as well, so go get involved. And thank you very much. I'll take that from you. And I'm going to invite Abby Ward into the studio. I'll pop that one down there. Abby, great to see you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Would be slightly better if the scoreline is a bit more in our favour, but other than that, yeah, great.
Yeah, let's get down to business. You know, what did you make of that first half? Like you say, the scoreline isn't in your favour. Were you anticipating this?
Look, Gloucester are a fantastic team. Absolutely was anticipating that if we gave them loose ball, if we gave them opportunities, if we didn't switch on, particularly when we transitioned from attack to defence, that they'd take advantage of that. And that was that first try in a nutshell. Sarah Beckett playing wide, playing through, and that's because making an error and then not quite quick enough to react.
Yeah, it's about trying to break down trying to break down Gloucester Hartpury, and something just wasn't quite clicking. You know, as a line-out master yourself, what isn't happening?
I think, you know, set pieces was always going to be fascinating in this game because there's so many dominant operators on both sides, and I think we've seen both scrum and line out hasn't quite clicked for either side. Gloucester uncharacteristically getting a few overthrows to begin with, scrums, penalties going either way. It would be really interesting to see how that develops, but I think the maul is going to be key. Discipline at the minute, I'm not sure on the penalty count, but I'm pretty sure it's high for both sides, and that gave Bristol that opportunity in the corner, which you have to get into points. You have to, in these games, you need to take advantage of that, and it's also given Gloucester plenty of opportunities. They have made a few errors and given up ball. I don't know whether that's just loose ball from Gloucester or Bristol's defence, but I think Bristol need to bring that heat in defence, not just on their try line. They need to bring that on in the 22, at halfway, up in Gloucester's 22, and start putting a little bit more pressure on.
Because when they're in the halfway zone, they're getting all the momentum, you're on the back foot, and then that's where the penalties could creep in, and then suddenly you find yourself 5 metres out from the try line. So the relentless defence that they're doing in their 22 and on their try line, if they can move that up the pitch, and that will apply pressure onto Gloucester.
I mean, it's a big occasion. I mean, semi-finals, a final. It's a second time in a semi-final. Is it very much about putting that to one side and just getting on with the job?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me and Beth have played in a lot of semi-finals together, and I think you need to play the game, not the occasion. I think these games can sometimes be full of errors because people play the occasion a bit more tense than usually they would be. I think both teams have settled now. I think this second half hopefully will be a bit different. It'll be really interesting to see if on both sides there's any changes in tactically how they're going to play. But yeah, Gloucester at the minute, they've got the crowd behind them, they've got the points, they're going to take some breaking down, and I think Bristol just need to be a little bit more intelligent with how we play and where we play.
Well, it is going to be a very interesting second half. Abby, I must ask, when are you going to pop?
In the off-season, nice and conveniently.
Very convenient. Well, we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for your time. Let's take things back up to the commentary box with Nathan Middleton. Enjoy the second half.
Thanks, Ashley. Great to get the thoughts of Rachel Burford there down pitch side, along with Abby Ward and Kelly Smith. Voices and names from both camps at that half-time. We're ready to go in this second 40 minutes. Claky George getting us underway for the second half at Kingsholm. Deep kick inside the 22, which Deborah Wills takes. Some work to do for the Bears to get back into this one. 14 points down at the break. They need big performances from their big players. One of those, Sarah Byrne, then with the carry. Looking to run the ball early. Here is some space for Wills. Oldcroft coming over, just cannot grab her. Singh comes down. Bevan to Pam now. Pushed down by Delgado. Snowsill helps it on to Byrne. Marston, haven't really seen too much in the loose from the Bears number 8, but when she is, she can be devastating. Not held, she picks and goes. This is good opening stages from Bristol. I'm sure Dave Ward has fired up his troops. Murray with the dummy. Bevan to Byrne. Snowsill standing deeper. That step back inside. Seen it on a couple of dummies so far from the Bears fly half. Marston again. Big handoff from the number 8. A couple more players come in to bring her down. Pam, seeing these Bears forwards get on the ball. Looking to run it. Looking to use this power game. Good double tackle. This time from Gloucester Hartpury. It was a real feature that opening 15 minutes, just how many double tackles were coming in. Good hit back and drive back from Oldcroft, back on her feet trying to counter-up. Such a nuisance, the Cherry and White's co-captain. World Player of the Year, of course, a couple of years ago. Quality operator in that engine room. Pam's third carry in the opening couple of minutes of this second half. Snowsill helping it on. This is more what you're used to seeing from the Bears, this clever handling work as Murray helps it onto Coles, trying to get away from that line.
Thank you. No, she's down on the ball.
Bevan to Byrne. On to Pam. Good work from Simi Pam. Breaks the first tackle and she's snuck herself into the 22. Snowsill. Burns in the middle now. This is better from Bristol, this high energy, high play, high carrying game we're so used to seeing. Needs some reward though. Cunningham into the line. Bevan looking for the ball. Snowsill to Byrne. Marston coming in as a supporting runner. That is quicker. Bevan, little dart round the fringes. Keeping that Gloucester Hartpury defensive line interested. The Bears number 9. Amber Reid. Step and a shimmy trying to break down this defence. Still on the 22 at the moment.
Choose one. Go, please.
Pam helps it on. Bit of a messy pass. Has gone backwards. Allow the Bears to reset, but back foot ball. Just this grey mugginess still in the air from that light shower at half-time. Reid helping it onto Wills, encouraging the winger forward. Turning 32 today, Deborah Wills. At the moment, not quite the birthday present she won on the scoreboard. Snowsill to Pam. Ball is backwards from that dribble, and he spoke about the heat and maybe a bit of dew and humidity on the ball. Certainly with that light shower on the ground, or two slippy conditions for those handling. Here is Pam. Snowsill. A couple of steps to the line before releasing Davis. Now Marston. Matthews trying to stop her momentum. Snowsill to Murray. Good line from the outside centre. Kelsey Jones reading it well. Burns now. Still at the moment struggling to break into this Gloucester Hartpury 22. They're coming up in defence, they're coming up in numbers, and they're tackling hard. The team that finished top of the pile after 18 rounds. Remember, just losses to Exeter and Saracens across the whole campaign. Both of them actually at home. One at the Al Pass against the Chiefs and beaten here by Saracens. Then the penalty comes for the Bears, so some reward. I'm not too sure how many phases it was, 20, 30 at least, but they're going back to what they know best, Berth.
Yeah, I suspect in the changing room it's about being patient. They know that their shape can eventually pull oppositions out of position. They're just looking for those little gaps between the defence, but Gloucester Hartpury just so connected, resetting, slowing the breakdown down because they're going in with 2 tackles. It allows them to get reset, but then the error comes in and some brilliant carries across the board. Simi Pam, Amber Reid working so hard, left to right being an option out the back door. So an impressive start from Bristol Bears, and now they get themselves into a great opportunity to strike straight after half-time and get them back into this game.
Simi Pam still just down, receiving a bit of treatment. Had a head bandaged up in the first half. It'll take a lot for her to come off, as Maud Muir as well. That's the same hand which she was coming back for at the Six Nations. Still some running repairs for the England prop. Of course, on those summer signings, moved from Wasps, along with the likes of Monaghan. Here we go then for the Bears. Can they strike early in the second half? They have the league's top accumulator of tries with their hands on the ball. To that front pod. Butchers takes it well. In it comes. Lark Davis primed and ready behind this driving maul. Re-energised, going for the shove round the right-hand side. Lark Davis goes over. Bears are on the board, exactly what they needed at the start of the second half. A player that just cannot stop scoring tries. A 22nd of the season for Lark Davis. The Bears right back in this one.
Well, it starts and ends with that woman. Brilliant execution, throw to the line out. Alicia Butchers. Great to see her back in the team and operating. Just the work rate. Delaney Burns in there, directing the orders. Simi Pam, just everybody going to work.
Just confirm tries. Thank you.
This is much better from Bristol Bears, using their width game to put the opposition under pressure.
Just let Mo know they've checked it and tries good.
And this is what it's about. When you get your moments and you get your chances, you have to take them. In the first half, they didn't take the opportunity that they had. And that will give them so much confidence, knowing what they can do if they can get themselves into the right area.
Big smile on the face of Lark Davis as Ellie Snowsill, pretty much from the touchline. What a kick that is from the Bears, number 10. Right on the money in terms of accuracy and distance. And so important. And it is now a one-score game. Gloucester Hartpury 14, Bristol Bears 7. Game on at Kingsholm.
Absolute quality kick. Big players stepping up in big moments.
Cries of Gloucester ringing round Kingsholm. The home support trying to just re-energise their side. This, of course, the reward for finishing in the top two places. You get the benefit of a home semi-final. And such an advantage as Snowsill now with the dummy. Breaks the line, looking for options. Brought down by George. Bears have come out with some purpose in this second half. This is the way we're used to seeing them playing. Just those words of accuracy and from Abby Ward. Big hit there from Kelsey Jones. But it has been better so far. Snowsill orchestrating things from 10. Murray helps it on. In comes the tackle.
Just the knock on. Scrum on it.
Just the knock on is the call. Counter up from Gloucester Hartpury, but we will stop for that knock on.
Knock on me.
And go back for the Bears put into the scrum.
Knock on, Zoe. He's trying to tackle and knocked it.
Zoe Allcroft did know the call then, with the smile across her face, having a conversation with Alex Thomas.
It's just good to see Bristol playing with the heads up. Can see that the outside channels are trying to get up and close the space in the outside. Eleanor Snowsill just darts through the gap.
What a hit this was from Kelsey Jones on her opposite number.
Absolutely blindsided. Not sure Lark Davis will appreciate that pass, but does really well to keep hold of the ball.
She's down on one knee at the moment, Kelsey Jones. Back up on her feet now. Jones, Neve, the Ireland Players Player of the Year, primed and ready to go when the time is needed as a replacement hooker. No changes yet from either side. Benches, as we mentioned earlier, could be absolutely crucial. The likes of Cecilia Turpolotto, Sophie Bridger, Lisa Neumann have all been a huge part of what the Cherry and Whites have done this season. Bit of noise again from those supporting Cherry and White. It's had a real derby feel to it in the West Country. Short distance for those supporting the Bears to come.
Alex, get longer binds my side.
Longer binds this side as well, please.
Catherine Ritchie just helping out the man in the middle.
Let's go again. Longer binds,
Laura Delgado just checking the call as well. Former Exeter player, of course, Delgado. Played in that final defeat to Saracens last year. Bethan Lewis there. Trying to G up the Gloucester Hartpury 8.
Stay attached. Crouch. Bind. Set. Stay high.
Scrum is well set, right in the middle of that Bears pack at the moment. Finally makes its way back to Marston. Bevan. Good small dance. Wills rides that tackle from Benner. Still going. Stopped on the ankle, the Bears wing. Mark Davis. The Bears try scorer. Pam. The energy when she gets on the ball. It's like she comes alive as soon as she got it in her hands.
Thank you.
She'd love scrumming as a prop, but Simi Pam loves the set piece as well as the stuff in the loose. Just another reminder of the territory there. Gloucester Hartpury still very much in charge, and now they have the ball as far forward as they've had it so far in the second half. Just trying to put their structures into play. Monaghan. Hunt to George. Another clever kick and a difficult one for Lobibon to deal with. Just too much gas on that for Claky George. Right idea, just slightly off with the execution.
Yeah, a couple of inches to the left-hand side, and we've been praising the kick. Just the transition. Organised so quickly, Gloucester Hartpury. All get onto the same page.
22 called. I'll get behind you first, please. Behind, please.
22 to call from the Bears from that kick dead. Snowsill will give this as big a hoof as she can. George. One bounce for Hurd. Centre of the park, just assessing her options, and those options are correct from Tatiana Hurd, breaking away. She's got support inside, just unable to be gathered by Monaghan. Brilliant work from Hurd. The ball inches away from Monaghan for a potential stroll into the line. Burns with some of the grunt work down the blind side.
Inside. Zoe, time in.
Bristol will back themselves as the ball bounces kindly for them. Scored over 30 points in 8 of the last 9 games. They have tries in them.
Time's off, change to Bristol. Let's get on, Buzzy.
So the Bears are the first to strike when it comes to the bench. Ellie Mulhern. Sorry, Gwyn Pearce actually coming on for Simi Pam. Lucy Burgess on at 9 and Megan Barwick on for Claire Malloy. So Dave Ward ringing a couple of changes. Monaghan off the top to Hunt. Hurd now to the line, short to Beckett. Marston and Beckett coming together. Hunt, couple of steps first. Singh trying to weave away through the Bears' defence. Did well to present that quickly. Alex Matthews, one of a number of players in the first season to the club, have really transformed from a 6th place finish last year to top of the pile. Muir. Delgado takes it forward but loses the ball. Bears have themselves a scrum. That energy from the first 7 or 8 minutes from Bears. It's really been kind of a topsy-turvy game the past few minutes. Just, I think, settling it down again into the rhythm of the match.
Yeah, certainly. Dave Ward unleashing his bench, wants to keep that tempo nice and high and that physicality. Recognising that Gloucester are on the back foot at times. It's the first time we'd seen a real glimpse of what Tatiana Hurd can do right through the midfield.
Cemented herself as England's number 12 in the Six Nations, did Tatiana Hurd. Brilliant tournament for her individually. Free kick going the Bears' way. The call was on the far side. Harry Walbaum with it. And a tap from Burgess to Byrne. Penalty goes Gloucester Hartpury's way this time. Kelsey Jones comes away with her hands on the ball. Sherrin White, second try scorer with the defensive work.
I just wonder if they rushed that free kick. Was everyone set, ready, knew what was coming, and just got slightly isolated?
It's tight in its tent at Kingholm. 14-7, under 25 minutes to go. For one of these two to secure a place in the Premier 15's final next week. Not next week, 2 weeks, couple of weeks break.
All 4 teams are going to need a break between now and then.
That's better from Gloucester Hartpury. Hurd now coming in on the crash board. Just seen a couple of minutes ago what she can do. Breaking challenges. Beckett now. First point scorer of the game, Sarah Beckett. Hunt just encouraging with that ball flat for Matthews to come onto. Now to Aldcroft, looking to use their power game, Gloucester Hartpury. George. Hurd is out wide now, looks to help it onto the far side. Referee has stopped play as Lund came forward. Forward pass.
Also quality cover defence as well. But it just shows you what Gloucester Hartpury's pack. They get you on the front foot and it gives you an inch of space on the outside to expose Bristol Bears. But the width that they play off Natasha Hunt, one pass takes out 3 or 4 defenders, which makes it really hard defensively to get your fold and then be able to go and put pressure.
Couple of shots of Sean Lynn then. The Gloucester Hartpury head coach is actually standing behind the posts where the opposite side to where Gloucester Hartpury are attacking, so trying to spot something potentially from a different angle to see where his side can take advantage. What can the host do here on this Bears put-in? Can they put him under pressure? Another advantage coming Bears' way. Reed, that's a clever kick over the top, and Murray will gather. Great gather from Phoebe Murray. Steps away from one, actually got the gas. The Bristol centre kicks again. Tries to hold off Venner, who comes back at it really well. Need the ball, the Bears. Burns with the carry. Butcher's trying to secure it, and she comes away with it. Place down now, need a scrum half. Advantage for the Bears. Snowsill. Reed, big long looping pass to Lobibon, trying to spread the play. Wills in some space, just unable to gather. Hurd comes through. We'll go back for the advantage. What a kick of ingenuity this from Amber Reed, and Phoebe Murray gathering the brilliance of Reed.
It's such quality. The bravery and the ambition. We talk about Bristol Bears loving to keep the ball alive. They also love to play from absolutely anywhere on the pitch. Pinpoint accuracy from Amber Reed. Brilliant timing from her centre partnership, Phoebe Murray, who does so well to get on the outside. Moments of being in their own 22, going coast to coast. And now we know what happened when they were in this position not so long ago.
Lark Davis, primed and ready again. One already this afternoon. This one slightly further out, 7 or 8 metres or so. Burns takes it well. Set at the moment. Now in comes Reed. In comes Murray. In comes the supporting cast. Still at the back with Davis, though. Momentum behind this one from Lark Davis to the right again. A second try for Lark Davis. A second try for the Bears. What forward power from Bristol. We're all square when it comes to tries in the West Country. What a fight back this has been at the start of this second half.
And they've taken their opportunities. They earned the right to get into this position. And then the confidence from the try before. Amber Reed comes in, Phoebe Murray just to add to the bolster of the weight. And then getting over again, Lark Davies. She knows how to score from a driving maul, that's for sure.
Their try output the past 3 seasons, really impressive. 21 tries in the 2021 season, 16 last year, 23 after a delayed start for Lark Davis, and just 16 outings. A thing of beauty, that Bears maul. Can Ellie Snowsill tie up the game? Strikes the woodwork, hugely unlucky from the Bears. We are tight, we are tense, and we are 2 points to difference. Gloucester Hartpury 14, Bristol Bears 12, just under 20 minutes to play.
We definitely feel that Gloucester Hartpury have taken a bit of a backseat so far in this second half. All the control and momentum with Bristol Bears. We've talked about how their comebacks in second halves and their ability to turn games around.
Cecilia Tuipulotu into the frame for Gloucester Hartpury. The 19-year-old. Bryony King also coming on for the Bears. Holly Cunningham's work this afternoon is done. Kick is deep again from George. Bristol, as we've said so many times, will look to run the ball. That one not quite coming off, and is that stolen? Yes, it is. Gloucester Hartpury back in possession through Lewis. And that's worked out very well for Sean Lynn's side. Bethan Lewis primed and sniping to steal this ball.
Good cover pressure from Natasha Hunt. Just game management there from Eleanor Snowsill. Maybe should have hit the short ball. Could see that Gloucester Hartpury had enough numbers out on the outside edge.
Pull through for me.
Scrum here then for Gloucester Hartpury. Need just something, need a bit of energy, need a spark. Just been slightly lulled in this second half from the energy from Bristol Bears. Beckett to Hunt. Hurd is ignored. George leaves it flat to the line. Hunt goes short now, looking for runners around the corner. Placed down, still goes to the right-hand side. George, bit of space out here. Singh trying to work her way through Emma Singh. So near. Ball is loose on the ground. Hunt picks it up to the right-hand side. Bethan Lewis strolls over with no one around her. Gloucester Hartpury on the board in the second half, to the delight of the home fans. They have a response. Or do they? The call is no try. There is a lost ball forward. As we have another look.
Yeah, you can see Bristol Bears protesting that in the breakdown here. Thank you, George. Just plays so flat to the line, doesn't she? But it's the work rate and the speed of ball around the corner that then shortens up Bristol Bears. But the error's coming here, just in the contact area here from Emma Singh. As she's taken down to floor, she loses the ball there in contact.
A reprieve for the Bears. Still just 2 points.
There's a good spot.
Television match official Nicky O'Donnell. We do have TMO for the 2 semi-finals and final. We can spot things and moments like that, big calls which can change games. Gloucester Hartpury now trying to put all the pressure on this Bears 8. Marston scragged by Hunt, then hit back in the tackle. Takes 2 to bring her down. Burgess checking her options. Gloucester Hartpury forwards, ready and waiting to come through. Hacked away as far as possible from a tight angle. And that's a pretty decent kick considering everything. Gloucester Hartpury, though, were looking for a response. Crowd now fired up behind them.
Yeah, under so much pressure there, you just wonder if they maybe picked a couple more phases, giving Ella Snowder a bit of a better angle to play with.
Just been announced in the stadium, if you heard a cheer, 2,714 this afternoon, a new record for a women's game here. Things are building in the West Country. Can they build again on the pitch? Here is Hunt, shorts to Beckett, again a bundle of energy, releases Lund. Good cover work from the Bears. Play is still there. George with the dummy. Rides one challenge, looks to go through a second. Hunt, quick play. Lewis, the dummy towards the line. Just short again. She wants the ball, Hunt, gives it to Muir. Pumping her legs towards the line. To Pilotu in there for a helping hand. Hunt, Hurd, try for Gloucester Hartpury. They stroll in the end. It's Rachel Lund on the end of it. Big celebrations from the home fans. Delight for Sean Lynn. 15th try of the season for Rachel Lund. Is that a winning score for the Cherry and Whites?
As an incredible set-piece play, everybody would have thought they would have started to maul that. Playing off the back door, Sarah Beckett right at the line, offloading. Rachel Lund reading that, and then eventually all the damage was done, drawing the defenders in, and Rachel Lund just runs in on the outside.
Big kick this for Emma Singh. 2 slightly tricky ones, you'd say, in the first half, in between a 15 and the 5, but this to take it to 2 scores away from the Bears. Crouching technique, drawing that line from the ball to the posts for a couple of big steps. It's good from Singh. 21-12 is the score. Gloucester Hartpury just edging away again and edging closer to a first Premier 15s final for Rachel Lund's try. sit back and enjoy. Just over 12 minutes to go until the final whistle. This West Country derby bubbling up nicely. Great response at the start of the second half from the Bears. They need another one now. Reed helping it on to Wills, but just too much there from Amber Reed. Holds her hands up immediately as an apology. They're going to have to force things now, though, the Bears. These are potentially the last 10 minutes of their season.
What a take initially from Amber Reed there, beating Zoe Allcroft in the air. Every bit of possession is going to be so critical now. They've still got time, got plenty of time to be able to work themselves back into a good position. Don't need to force things. Amber Reed, such a classy player, so skillful. On that occasion, just overcooks it.
Still the Gloucester Hartpury bench barely used at the moment as George to Rugman off her wing. Crash ball centre there for the finisher. Matthews, been a usual industrious self, the blindside flanker. Doing the niggly bits, hitting hard, getting to rucks. George now, spiral kick from the number 10, trying to find a bit of space, and really clever, really clever from Claky George. It's been a feature of her play this season, the tactical kicking, and she's one of the best in the business.
Yeah, she just looks up, can see that the winger's up high, and Lovibond's pulled out of position on the left-hand side, and then puts a lovely spiral kick, knowing that that's going to roll out. And they'll be thinking about how they manage this game, how they just keep the ball in the right areas, don't try and overplay, don't try and force things.
Davis throws in. It was Lewis launched up, and she got a hand to it before being dropped down. Just a couple of groggy moments from the open side, but back on her feet now. Burgess butchers and hit by Lewis. To use the hands down the blind side, the Bears. 9 points in it. Just over 9 minutes to go. Snowsill. Clever kick from Ellie Snowsill. We spoke about the kicking game of Claky George, but another Welsh 10 showing she's got just as sweet a right boot.
Yeah, and just gave her a better angle to kick from. Forwards doing their job, setting up a platform to give her a nice angle to be able to exit and relieve some pressure.
Let's go, please. Gloucester, time's on. Zoe, come on, in we come. Zoe, come on, go bring me into it.
Alex Thomas just
near the end of the line.
Asking
yes,
for Gloucester Hartpury to get on with the game. Jones again unable to find her mark. It's been an up and down afternoon throwing into the line for Kelsey Jones. And towards the end, that one not on the money.
It's good defensive read as well. Just marking the space, marking the movement. Sometimes just getting up in the space is enough to put off the opposition. This is an interesting setup again from Bristol Bears. Almost like a square formation, looking for Deborah Wills out the back.
Let's go, Bristol! Croaks! Bind!
Put into the Bears. They need something. They need to strike soon. They need a couple of scores. It was playoff semi-final heartache last year. At the moment, heading out again. Burgess. Clever run across the line. Murray hit hard by Hurd coming across. Here is Wills in the loose. Capable of the spectacular spill by Bears, picked up by Singh. Mohan knows there's no one back there. Has that gone out on the full? Yes, it has. Exactly the right idea from Mo Hunt. Just, if anything, too sweet a connection.
And we haven't seen Mo Hunt get these wrong throughout the entire season. Here, just getting too flat to the line. Bit of indecision, unsure if she's going to pass, not going to pass, and then overruns. And everyone knows as soon as it's turnover ball, the backfield's going to be completely empty. Just comes around that one a little bit too much.
Lark Davis, the scorer of 2 Bristol Bears tries, into this line out. Lucy Burgess under all sorts of pressure from Bethan Lewis. Reed. Mr. Hartpury back in possession. To Belotu, a 19-year-old. A huge future in the game, and she's growing into her responsibility as Tatiana Hurd now with the handling error.
Some fatigue coming in from both sides. That's 3 times that Bristol have given the ball back to Gloucester Hartpury. They've got to make the most of their possessions.
And still, with just over 5 minutes to go, Sean Lynn looks content with his side at the moment. Just the one change in Cecilia Tuipulotu. There is, as we mentioned, a 2-week break after this.
Sorry? Too late, we're scrum set.
Just as I say that, Neve Jones is being readied. One last scrum for Kelsey Jones to pack down for Gloucester Hartpury. Just over 5 minutes to go. It's better from Gloucester Hartpury, forcing the Bears up, and now turning round. Marston, all sorts of pressure. Lewis trying to get her hands off her. Marston gives it to Mo Hunt. Mo Hunt for the line to send Gloucester Hartpury into the final. Great tap tackle from Burgess. Placed down, ball still there for Gloucester Hartpury. Bears all over it, trying to dive over. And somehow Bristol come away with a penalty.
Such clever play from Mo Hunt, just getting in the channel, working around the back. Would have been the fairy tale. Mo Hunt going in under the sticks. And Marston's under so much pressure at the back of the scrum, going backwards. Thinks that she's got her support play, but it's Mo Hunt sniffing around. Great cover tackle coming in from Burgess here. The work rate from Bristol Bears to get back, to compete around the breakdown. And the infringement here just comes off her feet.
Did Bristol still want to make that change? His time's off.
Great tackle there, and Mo Hunt. It's one of those tricky ones when you're running for the line. You can feel someone coming down on you, but Lucy Burgess, credit to her, throwing a body in where not many people want to, with studs and boots flying. It was all messy, but Bristol coming away with it. Sean Lynn, I don't think, happy at that call. Tense moments for a head coach. Grace White now on for the Bears. Neve Jones. Alex Matthews actually is the one coming off, so Neve Jones coming on as a blindside replacement. 4 and a bit minutes for Gloucester Hartpury to hold out. 4 and a bit minutes for Bristol to get themselves a couple of scores. Reed, Lovibon to Wills, coming back in off her wing. Burgess trying to just get her team going. On for Kira Bevan. Snowsill, options inside, went to the outside where Sarah Byrne was hit once, then hit twice, forced backwards. Snowsill to Reed. She's had a brilliant individual season. The heart and soul of this team, a local girl who loves the club, but looks as if it's going to be one step short again for the Bears. Have they got something from deep? Anybody who follows the Premier 15 social channels will see Bristol always amongst it with try in the week because they love running the ball. Continue to do so. Snowsill, there's a flat pass there, and there was space in the middle, just unable to be gathered. And with that knock on, Gloucester Hartpury have a put into the scrum. And I'm sure they'll take all their time over this.
Yeah, they'll just manage that clock now. Huge defensive effort again from Gloucester Hartpury. The work rate has been relentless defensively, considering the amount of possession that Bristol Bears have had, but not been able to capitalise on it in big moments.
How many times you asked for that? How many times you asked? Yeah, no, it is fine. It is definitely right. We've got a really...
Alex Matthews there being focused on by some of the TV cameras. I think when it comes to player of the match, Rachel Burford, she's come very much into your thoughts.
Yeah, very much so. I think the work rate that this woman has displayed today. We talked about the amount of possession that Bristol Bears has had. Alex Matthews making 28 tackles, 5 carries. Her work rate, 8 carries. Her work rate has just been absolutely immense. And they talk about defence win games, and she's been a huge part of this defensive effort this afternoon.
We'll try and get a word with the Allianz Premier 15's player of the match, Alex Matthews. Fellow flanker Bethan Lewis looks absolutely cooked as she comes off. Handshake from Alex Matthews. Catherine Buggy, the Irish prop, being readied.
I've been told they're not ready to make the change yet. Here we go.
But I think Maud was about to come off, and in fact, she's got another scrum to do before she can. Bit of confusion here in terms of who is on and who is off. Maya Learn, the American international. Not sure the ins and outs were all communicated there, but on comes the American. She goes into the row, and Zoe Oldcroft will take a place on the flank. Just over 2.5 minutes for the Cherry and Whites.
Bind!
The league leaders at the moment coming back to Kingsholm in a couple of weeks in their first ever Premier 15's final. Can they get a nice cherry on a hard afternoon's work?
Thanks, Buffy.
Monaghan still going, still driving. Hunt again, right at the heartbeat of everything Gloucester Hartpury have done this afternoon, as Muir thought about giving the ball out. No obstruction is the call. Sing into contact. Good strength as she attacked the ball, and Gloucester Hartpury with the penalty advantage. They can take their time. They can look at the referee as Cecilia Turpolotto takes it forward. Hunt scanning, assessing to the blind side. Singh drives into contact. Good work from the fullback to make another couple of yards with the leg drive. Now Oldcroft is in. Still an advantage. Hunt deeper this time to Muir. What an effort she's put in, the Red Roses prop. Hunt again. Bears coming to try and fly round. The penalty advantage. Just over a minute to go. And we'll go back. You can just feel the expectation now in this Kingsholm crowd. Nearly there.
Be interesting what they decide to do. Do they look at taking 3 points, close the game out, or look to go to the corner?
Here we go.
9 and 10. Hunt and George in conversation. And there is the call. It is a scrum for the home side, just eating up valuable seconds.
Time is off. Changes, yeah, get them on.
Time is stopped by the referee.
2-1 and 9. 2-1 and 9.
And Gloucester Hartpury will just change some faces, both in the scrum and the back. There's actually 5 replacements coming on. We mentioned that Sean Lynn was holding his cards close to his chest when it came to his bench, but now the fresh legs come on for 30 seconds to enjoy The closing moments. Mo Hunt, beaming smile. What a season she's had. Started it with heartbreak. She'll end it in the Premier 15's final. And as the RPA Player of the Year. Some campaign for the Gloucester Hartpury number 9. Bianca Blackburn putting it into this scrum.
Bind.
Just crabbing to the left-hand side. Free kick immediately for Gloucester Hartpury. Thrown it back. They'll just eat up these seconds again. You can hear the countdown from the home side. The clock is now dead. Tapped in, booted by Sarah Beckett. Gloucester Hartpury, the league leaders this season, are through to the Premier 15's final. They've won the West Country Derby battle, 3 tries to 2. A hugely entertaining game here at Kingsholm, but the Cherry and Whites finish on top, just as they did in the league season. Bristol Bears credited, and they played their part in a hugely entertaining afternoon. But Gloucester Hartpury in a couple of weeks will be back at Kingsholm, back at their home, to take one of Exeter or Saracens. Great entertainment here in the West Country. Gloucester Hartpury edging out the Bears. And over the course of 80 minutes, Rachel Burford, probably a fair result given how they edged it, how they attacked, and their performance.
Yeah, I think overall, you know, they maximised their opportunities when they had them. They started well, but the thing is about this team is that they dug deep. Is something that they spoke about all week. Going to a dark place together, making sure we stay in the fight and giving every single little inch. And they were under enormous amounts of pressures from Bristol Bears and at the full time that they had. But for them, making history, getting into the semi-final and now making their way to the big ticket, the big dance in a couple of weeks' time.
Emotional scenes here, huge smiles across all the Gloucester Hartpury players, as you'd expect. Looked like there was 1 or 2 tears in the eyes there of Kelsey Jones as well. It's been a long old season. The cup competition started way back in September. The Premier 15s kicked off a week after the Rugby World Cup final. Gloucester Hartpury won their first 10 games of the campaign. And they really set the benchmark when it came to this league. Confirmation of the full-time score. Gloucester Hartpury 21, Bristol Bears 12. And they head to their first ever Premier 15s final. So we'll bring you some of the reaction. Ashley Wilmots will go pitch side and grab the Premier 15's player of the match, Alex Matthews, will look to try and get a word from the coaching staff from both sides as well. But here, just look back on some of the statistics from the game. And no Gloucester Hartpury there, not as much possession. We spoke about the running game, the meters made from Bristol Bears. They had more possession, but not quite the territory across that 80 minutes. And some shift as well. We spoke about the tacklers. And Alex Matthews, who will have a word from Amu, had a big chunk of those 166 made. But Gloucester Hartpury on the scoreboard, the ones progressing to the final next week. And in terms of play and coming to the game, you kind of expected that to play out. Let's have a look then at how the match progressed and the tries across the game. And it started after just 4 minutes. Sarah Beckett getting us going, and a lovely exchange down the blind side.
Sarah Beckett's so influential in this game. Her carries, and it all started here 3 minutes in. The ability to get into the wide channels, to free her hand, to get the offload. But what's important is the support line. She doesn't give up, she doesn't stop, she doesn't slow down. She keeps on that inside. She's not only blocking some more cover defence, but then it draws in the defender on the outside, and she's just there on the shoulder and runs it in.
It's the second one from Gloucester Hartpury that took him into the break at 14-0 ahead. A simple line-out move, and Kelsey Jones, who had a tricky afternoon at times at the line-out, but getting onto this, and this is what the Gloucester Hartpury forwards can do. We'll see Bristol Bears in a minute, but this was clever from them as well.
Yeah, just really strong set piece, got into the right zone and completely managed to operate, get the ball over, get working together, Bristol Bears just splintering off. You see there, you've got players left and right of them. You've got to be able to work as a unit right in front of that driving maul to try and stop. And Kelsey Jones finds the line and extends their score.
So 14-0 at the turn, but this was part of the Bears' response. And who else? Lark Davis. This her 22nd of the campaign. In comes the supporting crew. This is all about the measured approach from this Bears pack, and they've done this time and time again this season.
Yeah, it's just so well executed. They came out in the second half with an absolute bang. 35 phases, which led to the penalty that led them to get into this position. And Lark Davis is such a world-class operator. Getting the arrows right on the line out first and then going to work.
Lark Davis, again, pretty much a similar position. You're not seeing a replay of the try you just saw. This one from slightly further out. And this took the game to 14-12, and all about the patience. But once it had this momentum here, Gloucester Hartpury couldn't do much.
No, they couldn't. You can see there, Gloucester Hartpury trying to get back behind, but the damage is already done. The momentum has swung. This was a really important score to pull them back into the game. And who else but Lark Davis controlling and getting over the line again.
Ellie Snowsill missed that conversion, so this left the game at 14-12, but this ended up being the winning score. Rachel Lund going over, 15th of the season for her, a simple stroll in and one you can enjoy celebrating.
Yeah, I mean, this part was simple, but there was lots of complexities to it. The build-up, moving the ball right to the other side of the pitch, playing the forwards round the corner, which then shortened up the Bristol defence, and Rachel Lund runs in.
And that is how it finished, 21-12 for Gloucester Hartpury. You can see the two huddles there, both teams having their final word on the day. We'll get a word from the Gloucester Hartpury winning camp. Bristol Bears season ends this afternoon, and they will look to rebuild next season. But the work that Dave Ward has done, 2 top 4 playoff semi-finals in his first couple of seasons, something very much to build on. Whereas Gloucester Hartpury in their first ever Premier 15s final, back here in a couple of weeks, as we said, where they will face either Saracens or Exeter. And then, of course, we'll find out tomorrow afternoon, the same time, down at Sandy Park, the Chiefs hosting Saracens. And that game available on all the places that you're watching this afternoon. BBC Sport website and app, Premier15s.com, as well as the BBC iPlayer. Emotional scenes at full time. Mo Hunt, Sean Lynn. And we'll get some reaction from this Gloucester Hartpury camp. Mo Hunt making a way over to the far side. Alex Matthews there as well. And Sean Lynn, you can just excuse 1, 2 of the others for I think just taking their time to enjoy themselves as they Ashley Wilmot is going to try and grab 1 or 2 of these Cherry and White's players. And Zoe Oldcroft, the Gloucester Hartpury co-captain, has come down to join Ashley. Has some of the crowd ready to go behind Ashley. Right, let's get that word. The Gloucester Hartpury co-captain, Zoe Oldcroft, is pitchside with Ashley Wilmot.
Zoe, congratulations. It's just wonderful scenes here with all your fans cheering because you've just made history. You've made your first ever Premier 15s final. Just how does that feel?
Honestly, it feels absolutely unbelievable. Like, we had to fight from 1 minute to 80 minutes, and I literally just cannot even put it into words how much it means. Like, everything we went through last season, like losing in the last couple of minutes in games to like go into a final, is just unreal.
I mean, you had to dig deep, like you just said. At half-time, you were 14-0 up, but things weren't quite clicking in the first half, especially when it came to the set piece. What happened there?
Like, we knew they were we knew they were a second half team, and we knew they had a strong maul, which we did stop in the first half. Obviously, they had a couple more chances in that second half, but then we knew our discipline needed to be better and stop them getting there in the first place.
And I mean, second half, they came out firing. They got 2 tries on the board. In moments like that, it is about, you know, kind of digging deep and kind of fighting back, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like we knew we had to dig deep, and like the girls in that circle, they have it in them to be able to do that. So we were able to do it in the last 2 minutes today. We were just like keep looking at the clock, like girls, 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, and we were able to shut it out. So amazing.
Can you give us some insight into that half-time conversation with Sean Lynn? What was said? Because you know you were up at half-time, and yeah, what happened?
Basically, it was just about having fire in our bellies again. Like we knew they were going to come out fighting in the second half. Like when we played them in the season, it was the second half that they really came back in and got us. So we just knew that we had to dig deep, and yeah, the girls just did it, and it was amazing.
It was amazing. I mean, Gloucester Hartpury, you've really taken things up a notch this season. You've won, well, what's this, 17 and 19 games now. You know, what is different this season about your side?
Well, we just had a massive influx of really, really, really good players. Yeah, and we're just very cohesive, and I think that's just the main thing about playing rugby as well. Like, when you love the teammates around you, then you love being on the pitch with them, and then when you win, it just makes everything better.
And I mean, you've got your fairy tale, you've got your final here in a few weeks. What happens now between this moment and 2 weeks' time?
We work bloody hard.
I mean, I'll let you go. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and go celebrate with your team. Thanks, Zoe. Back to you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Worked bloody hard. The confirmation from Zoe Oldcroft. I'm sure they'll be resting up for a few days as well, though, particularly after the effort put in across 80 minutes this afternoon. A hugely draining game, really difficult conditions here in the West Country. 28 degrees, 29 degrees at time, very warm pitch side, and I'm sure a couple of days rest after a few celebrations tonight. Remind you, this is the first of 2 playoff semi-finals this weekend. Tomorrow afternoon, again, 2:45, the build-up on the BBC Sport app, website, iPlayer, as well as Premier15s.com. Who will face Gloucester Hartpury in the final at Kingsholm? Exeter Chiefs against Saracens, a replay of the final last season from 6 ways in Worcester. Saracens crowned champions that day, but Sarries have never won at Sandy Park. They find it a typical place to go to, as do most sides who go down to Devon. Can Susie Appleby's side get one over Alex Osterbury's outfit? And then the final back in a couple of weeks, Saturday the 24th of June. Mark that one in your calendar. We'll be here again at Kingsholm Stadium. The 3 o'clock kickoff on that day. Gloucester Hartpury have booked their place. Expect a very decent home crowd, you imagine now. They have reached the final. Kingsholm chosen as the final stadium, of course, many, many months ago, before Gloucester Hartpury had booked their place. It is the venue for the final, as it was a couple of years ago when Harlequins beat Saracens. But we'll be back here, ready and waiting to crown potential new champions of the Premier 15s. Ashley Wilmot has managed to grab a bit more reaction from the Gloucester Hartpury camp, and she's been speaking to the Allianz Premier 15s player of the match. Let's head pitch side. Ash is joined by Alex Matthews.
Oh, Alex, how are you feeling? You've just made history, you're in the final. You must be elated.
Yeah, the group, like you can see it in the emotions, what it means to every one of us. Yeah, we're just excited. We've come here for a purpose. We've got to the final, and yeah, we want to go win it.
And what a game, and what a work rate from yourself. 28 tackles. How's the body feeling after that?
Well, I've been off feet all week, so I'm pretty well rested coming into here, so I reckon that's it. It's the girls that have been training all week, and look at Kelsey, look at Beckett, Maud. You've got our front three sort of putting a 75-minute shift in. They're the girls that I think have earned it. They're unbelievable.
I mean, it's a big occasion, it's a semi-final. Were there a few nerves that you were contending with today? Not just yourself, but like within the team?
I think the girls were quietly composed. There was a really excitement, confident. It was a real good buzz.
And just a word on Bristol Bears, because they did make you work for that win.
Honestly, the progress they've made this season is unbelievable. We knew what they were going to bring this week. We sort of looked at them in so much detail, and we knew they can keep the ball, so we just had to stay patient in D and break them down eventually.
And I mean, what a reception you've had here. It's a record crowd for a Gloucester Hartpury game here at Kingsholm. Over 2,000 people here cheering you on. Just how much have the fans been that driving force for you?
I think you run out and you can hear Gloucester chanting and you see the cherry and white. It honestly gives you goosebumps when you run out, so it's unbelievable, and hopefully I'll see more in 2 weeks' time.
Now we know you're, like you say, you're back in 2 weeks' time, but do you have any time to celebrate this win?
Might have, I don't know, might have one drink tonight, I don't know, it's all pretty serious recovery, let's go again, but we've got 2 weeks, so plenty of time to recover. And,
exactly
that.
Great to speak to you, and congratulations because you're Allianz Premier 15's player of the match. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Continue to get a bit more reaction from the Gloucester Hartpury camp. Great to get the thoughts of Alex Matthews there, as ever. Very humble for her own individual performance, all about the team, but a huge, stunning individual effort from herself. Those tackles made across the game, 28 for the Red Roses flanker. The next closest, Maud Muir, with 19. Big defensive shift, particularly in that first half. The double tackles, a real feature of Gloucester Hartpury's game, as well as their clinical attacking play. It's those 3 tries, one from Sarah Beckett, one from Kelsey Jones and Rachel Lund in the second half, when just the Bears looked like they were creeping back into it, meant that they have secured a place, a first ever time in the Premier 15's final. Look to try and give you some more reaction before we leave this afternoon from Kingsholm. Sean Lynn is just going through 1 or 2 other media duties. Right, let's head back down again pitch side. Rachel Burford is made her way down from the commentary box. So let's get a bit more reaction, and Rachel can give her final thoughts, as well as some of the action from Gloucester Hartpury. Rachel Burford is pitch side with Ashley Wilmot.
Nathan, yes, Rachel is pitch side with me. I mean, what a wonderful sight here, seeing all of these fans coming out, cheering on their side. Just fantastic scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I'm sure it would have picked up on coverage, but the Gloucester chants, the Bristol chants, it was just unbelievable, real local derby. But now all the kids coming down to the front, they've got posters of all the players' faces on, all waiting for their autographs, and you've got all of the players doing a lap of honour, going and thanking everybody who turned out today, because they had another record today, beat their record last time, so it's great to see it thriving.
And it was a bit of a whirlwind of a second half. You know, Gloucester Hartpury obviously up at half time, but Bristol Bears came out firing, and we knew that they would.
Yeah, I think you can never underestimate a team, especially like Bristol Bears. They always find a second gear come second half. You know that the way that they play, they're trying to break teams down. So you can imagine Dave Ward saying, no, stick to what we're good at. Let's keep hold of the ball. Let's stretch them. Let's force errors. Let's force them to give away penalties. And then that was what found them in the 22, and then 2 tries. And then suddenly they're right back in the mix.
I mean, it's all about problem solving in those situations. You're under pressure, and it's just about staying cool, calm and collected, especially when it's as hot as it is as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's those pressure moments and those moments that, you know, are often going to add up throughout the game, and it's who can manage them the best that's going to get them into the right position come the end of the game. You know, even though Gloucester were feeling under pressure, momentum was not on their side, they weren't in control. Bristol Bears out the block, 2 tries very quickly, but everybody's really calm and composed. They knew what they needed to do. They knew the area of the pitch they needed to get into, and there was no alarm bells, no panic buttons.
Huge credit to Bristol Bears, though, because they have had a fantastic season. It's their second time in the semi-finals, and they were raring to go, but unfortunately it just didn't go their way today.
Yeah, I think, you know, there was moments that they could have taken the game and could have taken the lead, and I think they'll look back and they'll reflect and they'll recognise some of those opportunities that they just couldn't take, and that was credit to Gloucester Hartpury's defence. But, you know, for them right in the last couple of moments, still defending their line, still trying to play, trying to get the ball back, trying to get to the opposition try line, like that says a lot about a club and a lot about a credit to them as a group who are prepared to work really hard and keep fighting right to the end of the game. And, you know, unfortunately they came up short and missed on some opportunities, but, you know, for them, they're a side that, you know, consistency is important. Into a semi-final again, you know, I know that they'll kick on again next year, and we never know what might come.
No, you never know what's going to come. Hopefully we're going to be speaking to Sean Lynn very shortly, who's in the other studio. It'll be really great to get his thoughts. But, you know, this is just the start for Bristol Bears. Dave Ward has been with the team now 2 seasons. He's managed to get to this point. And, you know, there's always next season. But Gloucester Hartpury, there just seems to be no stopping them. They've now won 17 in 19 games. They've just been absolutely on fire. They've beaten Saracens and Exeter this season. And, I mean, it's going to be a juicy final, whatever happens.
Yeah, it really is. I think, you know, huge credit to them. You know, today was an example of just their world class across the board. Like some of the players who played, like Sarah Beckett was unbelievable, taking on the line, the offloads, the link play, the defensive effort, and then you flip, you've got Maud Muir, you've got Zoe Allcroft. Just the amount of talent that they have that they can rely on and can draw on those resources is so invaluable to them as a group. And I think collectively they're a really strong team that come together, and then you actually see that happening on the pitch as well.
And just a word as well on our player of the match, Alex Matthews. You know, 28 tackles. That's huge, especially considering how much possession they had.
Well, exactly. I think, you know, Bristol Bears had a hell of a lot of possession but couldn't capitalise on it. So it just shows the amount of defensive effort that Gloucester Hartpury had to put in. And Alex Matthews was at the forefront of that. You know, her defensive effort, getting off the line, chop tackles, every single tackle was an offensive one. She made them lose their momentum, and that's what's so important about the way that she plays. She's a ferocious ball carrier as well, also 8 carries as well within her game. But, you know, for me, I think the way that she's gone about business, as she mentioned, she's not been on feet all week. She's been nursing a dead leg, and then to put a performance like that. So if we get her on rest for 2 weeks, it'll be interesting to see how she plays in that final.
It will be exciting. And I mean, just back to Bristol Bears as well. They did try and mix it up a little bit today, and that's exactly what we like to see. We like to be kept on our toes a little bit, a bit more kicking in their game. They are very much a possession-based game, but it was nice to see them, you know, go for it.
Yeah, I think kind of game management, when they felt they weren't getting anywhere and kind of going side to side, that actually they needed to find a way to turn Gloucester Hartpury, maybe make them drop some more in the backfield. I mean, when you know a team's not kicking, you've got to probably put more in the front field. So just trying to change that picture is really smart from them. A couple of times it did really work, and then on a couple of occasions Gloucester Hartpury love scoring from counter-attack, so giving them the ball back is also sometimes doesn't work out your way. But it was great to see the mixed match. I loved the little cross kick, the little chip, from Amber Reid out of their own half. I think that's what's exciting about the brand of rugby that these teams are playing, both Gloucester Hartpury and Bristol. They run it from anywhere, they pull tricks out of the bag at any point, and it's great to see some of them really coming off.
It really is, and I mean, it's about building now between now and the final. They do have 2 weeks. You know, you've been in these situations before. What will they be doing? What is the plan?
And here he is.
Well, do we have a microphone?
Thank you so much.
Well, Sean Lynn, congratulations. You just made history with your club, your first ever Premier 15s final. How are you feeling?
Ecstatic. You know, I'm so proud of the girls, and that's exactly what I just said there, is they've created this. Nobody else has created it. They've created it, and we're going to look forward for that in 2 weeks' time.
It was a very emotional end as well. We saw a few of the players, you know, welling up, because it's just a fantastic scene here. Like you say, this is what you've built and you're continuing to build.
Yeah, definite, you know, and the emotions, I think, is coming from a 2 year of losses, and just tight losses, and we didn't get into the playoffs, and people writ this off, they've not been in the playoffs before, can they do it? And I knew they could. The trust they've got in these girls, the togetherness is outstanding.
So how are you feeling when Lark Davies goes off with the second try? I mean, was it a bit twitchy?
I was, yeah, but I got to show that calmness as well. If I'm asking players to be calm, I think coaching staff all have to be calm with it as well. But you know, we just stuck to our structure. Let's go more territorial. Let's force Bears making those mistakes higher up the park, and it did happen.
Sean, in terms of goal setting at the beginning of the season, have you exceeded your goals for this season?
Yeah, look, I think if you talk to any club going into the media day, everybody wants to be in the top 4. That's what we wanted to be, in that top 4, and then it's about going into the semi-final. But look, have we exceeded it? No, I want to go there and win it. I don't want to enjoy the day. I'm going there to win the final.
I mean, it very much feels like a real unity at the club. Everyone feels very pumped. This could be your year, but how are you going to make it happen between now and then?
Well, look, it depends who wins tomorrow. That's the big one. What's that?
Who do you want tomorrow?
Well, whoever we got to beat them. So yeah, we'll see who wins tomorrow, and then it'll be 2 weeks about us, how we're going to play against them. But what we're big on is how we play against teams. We did a lot of analysis. I think we sussed Dave's four-map out, and that come up trumps for us today.
I mean, you've had a good a few wins against them this season as well, so that must not faze you either.
Yeah, Saracens away, we had a good win. Exeter away, we had a very good win again. They beat us last week. But look, there'll be a different side. Final Cup rugby is completely different to League rugby.
And Sean, just to get a quick word on Bristol Bears as well, because they didn't make it easy for you. They did come out in the second half and throw the kitchen sink, as they say. I mean, were you impressed by them, and also how your team adapt to that?
I've been very impressed with Bristol Bears. Since the game we played them down in Shaftesbury Park, and we just narrowly won at the end. The momentum they're just building, and you can just see everything clicking. And someone like Sarah Byrne, she's just a game changer, and she can make things happen. Moreau Marston, fair play to her. Just, you know, the momentum Bristol Bears, and they've got a cracking squad there. You know, and there is one winner and there is one loser, and you know, sadly it's them today, but good for us that we are going into the final. But the work we had to put in this week to beat Bristol Bears was so hard, and we knew we had full respect for them.
I mean, thank you so much for your time today. Congratulations. We cannot wait to see what final we end up with after tomorrow. Where will you be watching the semi-final tomorrow?
I'll probably record it. I'm going paddleboarding with my family tomorrow. So
little switch off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice to have that balance. Thank you so much, Sean. I will pinch that mic from you, and I will just welcome in Dave Ward, head coach of Bristol Bears. Hi Dave, commiserations, you know, not the result you would have wanted there, but what did you make of that?
Yeah, what did I make of that? Look, I'm frustrated, obviously. We started slow, we played a little bit into their hands, which we kind of talked about, and then did exactly that. We didn't take our opportunities. We came in at half time and then we said, right, let's go and do what we practiced all week for the last 2 weeks, we've done for the last 10 weeks. And when we did, we put pressure on them. And it was 3 tries to 2 at the end of the day. I thought both teams were outstanding. Both Gloucester's defence, our attack, and even when they attacked as well, I thought that the game as a whole was just a level up from what you'd usually expect in the Prem 15. So credit to Gloucester. They got the 3rd try, we didn't. They won the game.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much in it. 3 tries to 2 tries, and that's what happens in these big occasions, a semi-final. It is about those small margins, isn't it?
It is.
As you know.
One day we're going to win one. You know, I think we've lost 4 semis now, including 2 leagues and 2 cups. So look, it's still a young group in terms of my sort of tenureship with the group. And Tom, Luke, it's only our 2nd season. Like, we've got some amazing players. There's no doubt about it. But we need to keep developing, keep learning. All the stuff in rugby that takes time to do. You see what the Saracens have done in the men's game, and Saracens in the women's game as well, to be fair to them. That didn't happen overnight. No. That took a long time for it to happen, and for us, look, we want to be in the semis next year. We want to win final obviously next year as well, but we're on the right path, and I know that's hard to take right now, you know, an hour after the final whistle, but it will hold us in great stead for next season. I don't doubt it.
And then at half-time, obviously, we saw them come out, 35 phases, 5 minutes of play. I mean, that's going to take it out of anybody. But what was said at half-time to literally turn that switch, and then we see what we've been seeing from Bristol Bears all year?
Yeah, I just think let's go and fire a shot. We've given Gloucester a little bit too much respect, and I get it. They're the runaway leaders in the league, but we've got to go and put our stamp on the game. And when we did that, and we took our chances, we were much better. We kind of did the same against Exeter last year, really, but we were better today. It was a better semi-final for us today. I thought we were much more in the game. Exeter last year were to and fro, and any team could have won that, and that was fine. This year, we were much better, and I think if we'd have gone on to the final, we would have had a good chance as well. I can't wait for tomorrow's game either. That game was outstanding. Tomorrow's game, you know, Saracens telling to everyone they just win. Exeter saying they've never won down here. Marley, Backer and Poppy Leach in the press this week. That's to be the best story all week.
What's next for Bristol Bears, Dave? Where do you go from here?
I think, like any club now, recruitment. You've seen Ealing and Leicester come into the league and make huge statements. They can do that because they're not playing at the moment, so that's fine for them. For us now, we've got to make sure we go and recruit, strengthen our squad. We go back, we make sure we do what we're doing well, which I think we're doing a lot of things well. I think I just said thank you to our staff at the end, because the level of players that I've got available to choose from is unbelievable when we're in week 30 or 49, sorry, of the season. 49 in the season, we're in week 49, and I've still got 42 players to select from. Our medical team and our S&C team have done an amazing job. So we keep doing the things we do right, and as I said, get a few tweaks where we need to sharpen up as well. Making Tom Luke, our assistant coach, now a full-time role as well. Credit to the club, credit to the Lansdowne Group for backing us and doing that. They're showing that investment in the women's programme. Now we've got to get the success part of it.
And also a huge credit to your fans, because they were very loud here today, and you know, at home as well. You've got that fan base now, and it is just continuing to build.
Yeah, absolutely. My family had no excuse. You know, they're all from Bristol, so I said, right, come on. They're asking me for lots of tickets in the week, but yeah, look, I think our fans are some of the best in the league, and I'm sure Berth will tell you about the Quins fans. They're incredible as well. And people who come to women's rugby, they don't stop coming to women's rugby because they know what the product is and they know the brand. And that was again a demonstration of that today. It's a hell of a game, hell of an achievement. I had Carl Sinclair text me at half-time trying to give me some advice. I didn't read it until after the game, but the fact of the matter is that people are invested in it, people want to be involved with it, and like I say, when you see the product like that, I can't wait for tomorrow's game, and already I can't wait for the final.
Well, it's great to hear that Carl was watching as well. Dave, thank you so much for your time. Rachel, it's been an absolute pleasure to work alongside you today. Thank you so much for joining us. So that is it. Our first semi-final done and dusted. Gloucester Hartpury secure their history-making place in the final. Just 2 weeks to go until we are back here ready for the final. But who are they going to face? Well, join us. We're live on BBC Sport and Premier15s.com tomorrow, live from 2:45 p.m. for all the build-up. We'll see you then.
And Gloucester Hartpury back in the game.